how difficult is it to record a conversation, Chris? Just the voice of two people talking. I feel like it should be much easier than it is. Don't you think so?
I think it's getting better, right? Like, even like seeing my homie, how he edited.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, a lot of my mates like use AI for mixing and stuff. And like, it's pretty crazy. Like, how can, like, you don't have to manually do all these functions. Like, you can just, yeah. Is that all good? Is that a better level or? Because you might get a bit of background noise as well from these.
Oh,
things
that's
out
all
here.
good.
It's just too fucking hot.
Nah, yeah, no, it's a really nice place, Chris.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad. I mean, we were talking about like where to have this conversation, and I'm kind of glad it's here so that I can see like, I don't know. I guess like a place tells a lot about a person. You know, seeing like your setup, studio, and your. Well, can I mention like the wall planner and things?
Yeah,
the wall
it's
planner.
no secret. Everyone that knows me knows I got one. Cool.
Yeah, and even on the
Just
background,
don't release
here,
my dates. Hey, nah. Because then I'll be accountable for having to drop on those dates.
But speaking of dates, I thought there will be a release at the end of January.
Cut. Nah. Yeah, there was supposed to be some shit out. Like, but you know, like with everything that's changed.
Yeah.
Like started working full time, running my business, looking after my kid. You know, all of that stuff. Like, it's just sort of pushed it.
Yeah.
And it's cool because I don't feel like there's a pressure on me to like stick to I'm real driven to stick to deadlines, but yeah, there's a lot of work that needs to happen with that video and stuff.
Yeah.
But how long do you take to edit these?
Oh, it's hard to. It takes a few hours, but a lot of it is pressing, compiling, and then waiting.
Yeah. So like from now, from what, like today, like how long do you reckon you'll have the episode, like the turnaround before it's like ready to release?
I want to release this coming Tuesday.
Oh man, you're organized. That's good.
Yeah. That's the plan.
I was gonna say like, oh, maybe it'll be out by the time that we're done, but like you're obviously way more organized than I am.
Well, the thing is like I don't really edit it too much. I edit the start of it and I edit the end of it.
Yeah.
But in between, I just edit all the breaks, like
Yeah,
bathroom breaks.
yeah.
That's why like if you need to take breaks, like we can. It's easy as.
Yeah.
But all the ums and ahs, the pauses and things like that, I leave all those in. And
I try not to even say
oh yeah, I
I'm
mean, it's
real
mostly
conscious
for my
of it.
part.
Oh yeah,
It's mostly for my part. Like even just having guests who haven't been on podcast, I don't know what it is. I think there must be something to do with my brain speech connections or something. I know I struggle a little bit with anxiety, and I know it's quite common with people with anxiety. So maybe it's because of that. Maybe it's because of other things. Maybe I get nervous in front of the camera, which I know I do. But I'm much better now. At the start of it, listening to my own episodes, it was painful, Chris. It was
yeah. I feel like that's the case, you know, with music. Like when you first start making music, like you gotta learn to love your voice, you know.
Yeah.
And like appreciate, you know, what the voice that you have.
Yeah.
Because it's special, you know what I mean?
And having said that, though, I feel like some people are born with better voices for music and rap or singing.
I doubt, but that could come down to so many different factors. It could come down to like what they're exposed to in the womb, what their parents did. Like, did their parents listen to music? Like, you know, were they, you know? It's like half, like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to sing. So I guess I relate to what you're saying. Like, but I wish I could, bro.
How would you rate your rap voices when you listen to yourself rap?
I'm comfortable with my voice.
You're comfortable?
Like 100%. Yeah. I don't get insecure about myself or what, you know, how I sound or anything like that at all. Because even if like, if I produce something or I write something that I don't have the capacity for, I know I've got a handful of people that I can call on to record, you know, the chorus or whatever if I can't hit that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, do you ever listen to yourself think, man, I'm kind of sick?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, it sounds conceited as fuck, but like quite often I really like that. Like I really like having a lot of my old stuff. You know, I think I deleted a bunch of it, but I think I've got a hard drive downstairs that's like maybe, you know, nearly 15 years old or something.
Yeah.
And like I listen to shit from when I was living in Wellington and I was like, man, my blade was sharp. Like, and rightfully so. Like I was writing, you know. I can always be better. Like I'm not trying to be braggadocious or not humble, but yeah, I have moments where I'm like, man, that scheme was ahead of its time, or
Yeah.
like the way that the pattern of how I juggled those words, or the way that the cadence or the sibilance fell, or you know, like I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I might not put that out or want to put that out, but like it just reminds me that, you know, in those moments I was probably writing where I felt just really like trying to flex what I can do with a pen,
Yeah.
you know, and there's nothing else going on. Like there's not like, oh, I'm worried about the release plan or anything like that. It's just like, because there was a period of my life when I was living in Wellington where it was just like no internet, no TV in my lounge. Like I had no internet. We had to go down to the library and like get beat tapes and instrumentals, and we hacked like the library thing. They had this like this login thing where
Okay.
you would go pay for like an hour internet.
Yeah.
They give you this code, and there was a button that we found that you could like pause your session for like if you went to the bathroom.
Okay.
So we would just load the page and then pause it, and because everything was loaded, like we could listen to the stuff, and then you'd like try download it and press play and then stop it. So it would like we just stretched that because we were in there all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like all the time. Like, you know, when I wasn't working, that's where I was at. I was at the library getting instrumentals, or I was at home writing. And yeah, for like that whole year, and like I was just really driven to like just write, like just try to get real good at writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're in Wellington? You
Yeah,
lived in
yeah. So
Wellington?
I moved from New Plymouth when I went to university for design.
In Wellington?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
Massey.
Yes.
And I went there and then sort of like did crime and you know, got into painting, like graffiti and stealing shit and fighting and just trying to fuck girls. And I didn't give a fuck about uni.
Yeah.
I was only at uni because like everyone at uni was like, oh, this is Chris's saving grace. Like my art design teacher in high school, amazing man. You know, I remember he dropped me off at home once with my mum and was like, this is all he's got going for him. Like, this is it for him.
The media, the design.
Yeah, this is what he's born to do. You know what I mean? And I was real grateful that he said that, but I felt a lot of pressure on me. So when I was in Wallis, yeah, I lived there and I went to uni, but I just got so deterred from that. You know, I met my homie Marco and a couple other people. He's a real good friend of mine. And yeah, and I just didn't give a fuck about uni.
So you don't, is that because you didn't go for yourself?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you felt like you had to go because someone else is saying that
Yeah,
this
my
is the way to
parents,
go.
like my teachers, you know, society.
Yeah.
Who the fuck at that age can make a, you know, $30,000 decision logically?
You're like, what, 17, 18?
Nah, I was 19 because I
19.
took a year in between.
Yeah. But even
Like
then,
saved
huh?
up, you know?
19 is so young.
Yeah, like that's the period in psychologically
Yeah.
where you're like at a dilemma. Like I don't know if you know about, do you know Erik Erikson?
No.
He created a model called the Stages of Psychosocial Development.
What's his name?
Erik Erikson.
Eric Erickson.
Yeah, so he
Wow.
built off the foundation of what Freud did with psychosexual stages
Okay.
of development within children. And he used that for a societal thing for adults and children. And so the age from like, I think 18 to 25 is identity versus role confusion.
Okay.
So it depends of the virtue of the outcome depending on how, you know, what you're into. So like if you don't get an understanding of who you are between that age, you might have a lack of understanding of what your role is in the world.
Yeah.
And that's what that time period is. Like that, he believes like that's the dilemma. Who are you and what is your role in the world?
Yeah.
You know? And I don't think it's by coincidence that that's targeted for people to like go work out what they're supposed to be doing with their life. And it's going to cost you $30,000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
That's that costs a lot.
hard,
That costs a lot.
hard.
But it's difficult because like I guess like uni is one of the safer ways. I guess it's like there's like a set pathways that a lot of people have gone. You know, you go to uni,
Go work at Starbucks.
you know,
afterwards.
like, you know, co-work at Starbucks, but like, you know, a lot of people have gone through that.
Yeah,
and-
100.
And therefore, there's more of a less uncertainty when it comes to your future. And there are people, I think that's why, like,
It's perceived that way though, right?
it is perceived that way. Yeah.
But I don't think it is though.
You don't think it is?
Nah, I don't think the reality of it is that like is an outdated model based off traditionalism. You know, that shit is a business, bro. And I realized that when I went there because like school, my high school was so much different. Like they wouldn't let me do 3 art subjects, even though I got like top of art in all
Right.
years that I was there, like out of the whole school, right? Like I was a real high achiever in art. That's why I had that pressure. And then they wouldn't let me do 3 subjects. I wanted to do photography, fine arts, and design.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's too much.
Choose
Boom,
one.
chuck me at uni, bro. And I was
Yeah.
just like, what is this workload? Like, this is like what I was doing at high school on gear, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like it's an outdated system, you know?
Mm.
Because what percentage, bro, of classmates do you think end up working in the field? Like when you maybe it might be a little different with
Right.
IT, but what do you because you went to uni for IT and stuff.
No, but that's true. I mean, I went to uni to study maths and stats.
Okay.
And there isn't really a job called mathematician. You know what I mean? Like you will have to work at a uni as a researcher to do maths. You know, quite often, I mean, you know, even for me, like unless you get a higher degree like master's, PhD, and so
Yeah.
on, you kind of end up having to almost work as a math teacher if you want to work at a job that has a title mathematics in the title of the job. Yeah.
So you're just becoming a cog for that system.
Exactly, because you become a teacher, you know, which is a very admirable job.
I
You
agree,
teach,
100%,
but
100%.
Not everyone wants to be there, and some people are there because they don't have any other choice, which is a
Exactly,
shame.
which is a wrong reason for being a teacher, right?
Absolutely.
So we were talking about podcasting before. Like, you don't want to be there because that's the only job you can get.
Mm.
You want to be there because you have an insatiable and burning desire to see children develop.
Absolutely,
you know?
yeah.
And
yeah.
we all know that we've had teachers that are there because they probably can't get another job.
You know
what I
that,
mean?
huh? You feel that, huh?
Fuck yeah, bro.
You feel
yeah.
that.
And then we've had teachers that are the opposite of that spectrum. Like when I talk about my design teacher,
Yeah.
Mr. Tullett, like that man opened my mind to the world, bro.
Yeah.
Through what I do with art.
Is that because he was supporting you a lot?
He was supporting me. He was critical of me
Yeah.
in a really loving way.
Mm.
But, you know, he was disciplined with me. Like, I didn't mind. Like, he was cool, you know? Like, he was real gentle, you know? And I had mates and stuff at high school that, you know, I found out stole cameras and shit from the art department. He knew.
He knew?
Yeah, he knew. He ain't stupid, bro.
Yeah.
He knew it was my mates.
Right.
But he still, you know, dropped me off at home like 3 hours after school because I had no way of getting home or whatever. Or, you know, he just seen me glued to Photoshop, you know, or looking in books and sketching. And, you know, I lost my best friend when I was that age.
Oh.
So he saw me go through all of that. Like, here's a man, bro. Like, I never forget this one moment, bro, in this book. So he had a book and he created this stamp and it said art department on it,
Yeah.
but it was just the word department in like Times New Roman
Yeah.
in capitals. And the department was block letters, but the ART in department was hollowed out.
Right.
And I was like, who is this man? Like, you know, it says art department. It's one stamp, simple,
Right.
straightforward. That's what he put through all the books, you know? And I was just like, in my head, I was like, wow.
That's
like,
sick.
yeah, you know, he showed me the FedEx logo, you know?
Mm.
You seen it? Like the
FedEx logo?
Yeah, between the E and the X is an
Yeah,
arrow.
yeah.
You know,
Right,
the
right.
the use of negative space.
Yeah.
He opened my mind to the world, bro,
see.
and showed me that everything is problem solving. Design is solving a problem.
Mm.
Like, and yeah, I fucking love him for that, bro. Like, I can never speak highly enough of that man. Like, amazing man, bro. Straight up.
Yeah. I mean, there's one good example of like a teacher being impactful, right?
Yeah, I had one at uni as well. His name was Hans, I believe.
Hans.
Yeah, at Massey.
Yeah.
He was an industrial design teacher.
Okay.
And that really opened my... Because I wanted to go for graphic design.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what am I going to do? Like, design a Coke can, you know? Or work for McDonald's or some shit. It's like, I want to change society, not contribute to the fuckery of advertising, you know? Unless you're like, I don't know what, like a activist designer.
Right.
That shit's tough too. Like, that's amazing. But yeah, I really fell in love with industrial design because I was like, wow, like you can create a functional solution to a traffic problem. Like, that was interesting to me, you know? Like, we did this study on nature in accordance with invention.
Okay.
And we're like looking at like how a bird would flap its wings, like on some Leonardo da Vinci shit.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And we had to design something that used the same mechanics and then work out how that was applicable in real life. And this guy was like, you know, here I am like slanging like Ritalin and selling drugs to my classmates in this hostel and, you know, off doing all this wild shit, you know, stealing meat packs from Fix and like, yeah, bro, and like racking paint and painting trains and just you know, get into stupid shit. Like, and he's like, you know, I was pretty broke, you know, even though I was like slanging and shit. And he was like, you pass this class, I'll buy you a mean ass steak. I'm like, yo, you know, like steak was like,
he bribed you.
Yo,
he bribed you.
I was like, I was living off like noodles and what was I drinking at that time? It was like this $10 bottle of like tequila. I can't remember what it was. It's like the equivalent of Christoph, that water shit that, you know, I don't know if you've ever drunk that shit. It was like a $10 bottle, bro. It was just like water and alcohol. It was just nasty shit.
So when you're in school, did you do music in school?
No.
So it was design was your main thing.
Yeah,
art was your main thing.
I really wish I got into photography, and I think that's why I'm into it now so much, you know?
Yeah.
Like photography and film. Because they had a darkroom and shit. I would have been miles ahead of where I'm at now.
Yeah.
If I had known that. But yeah, I didn't do, I played the drums, you know? Like,
so you listened to music, you played a bit of music.
Yeah, I tried to play drums, but I was no good at it, you know? And I had older heads that were living in New Plymouth that put me on to music. That was like, I remember having this real pivotal moment of my life of listening to music. I mean, like, I sort of always felt like I was, you know, even when, like, before that, when I was kicked out and I was living in, like, youth homes and, you know, in foster care and stuff, like, or respite care, I was like, man, I'm ahead of what other people are listening to. Like, people in the hood were listening to, like, Bone Thugs, Puck, you know, stuff like that, or, you know, just in general. You know, and I was like, I remember I got on from my bro Taryn. Shout out Taryn. He put me on to like Chamillionaire, like heaps of South stuff like UGK, MJG, 8Ball, Trick Daddy, like a lot of, you know, like I was listening to like Chamillionaire like maybe 4 or 5 years before he popped off, you know? Like all the old mixtapes with Paul Wall and stuff, and even Wayne, like Little Wayne. Like, I was listening to that music when everyone else was listening to Puck. And then when I got through high school, I started finding like real different stuff, like through the older heads, like Copyright or Atmosphere, Wu-Tang, you know. And then when I discovered that side of hip hop, I was like, nah, like this is game over. Like it was that Atmosphere album, the Lucy Ford EP.
Okay.
To me, that was just, you know, if you listen to Macklemore, bro, he's like inspired by Atmosphere.
Right.
Like that's where that sound comes from, I reckon. But Atmosphere was just like real interesting to me. Like, bro had a song about like, you know, it was like the chorus was like, in tomorrow I see no promise, and yesterday was like today. And he tells a story about like waking up, you know, putting his socks on, going to the record store, going to the coffee shop, going to the bookstore, and then like falling in love with this chick and like fucking her in the toilet or something, and then and then it was a dream, and he woke up and it started exactly the same. You know, and I was like, whoa, like I've never heard this side of hip hop. Like, So yeah, that, and I had mates and stuff that like Lane and some of my other homies at school, like Alex, we would share music, you know. We'd be like, yo, I found this shit, you know. And we're like, oh, like we really try to, this is a small town, bro, like really trying to be up on being ahead of the curve, you know, with like what we're listening to. Yeah.
And that thanks a lot to your friends and
straight up, and the older generation of guys,
generations, huh?
man, they like the MPK dudes, like they're in a crew called MPK. Yeah, it's like New Plymouth kids.
Yeah.
And they're all like graffiti writers and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's rappers and, you know, like successful people, you know, like I grew up like looking at them like they were the kings, you know what I mean?
How did you translate from listening to, you know, being a fan of music to creating your own?
Smoking weed.
Yeah?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I always said that I was gonna be like the man. Like I always told myself like I'm gonna be a mean rapper. And when I went and I got kicked out of home and I was like living in foster care and like respite care, I knew this other guy and he was like real into music and stuff too. And I think like I told myself like, oh, I'm gonna be a rapper. I used to like bunk school and go to this house and there was these guys that would record music. His name was like Nukes and Casper, and they used to like, and Cole, those three guys and this other guy, his name Oliver Twist or something, right? They would like, one of them was dating my bro's sister, and they just did music, and I was just like, I never met anyone that did music.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, you know, this was when I was into like getting into drugs, like after my mate died, sort of thing. And I was like, man, like I want to do that. I just knew, like I want to do that shit. Even in primary school, bro, I used to beatbox and shit. No one taught me how to do that shit. I was like, yeah, I want to, you know,
you just
like I just enjoyed that shit.
Yeah,
like, I can't beatbox. Like, don't ask me. I'm not gonna beatbox.
That was my next question.
Yeah. If you rap, I'll beatbox.
Oh yeah?
Nah.
Oh yeah, maybe after the camera.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was just fascinated with that, and I used to like bunk school and go to their house and record or like battle people, you know. And yeah, they were like, they didn't really show me how to like you know, but I just was like had this desire to like kind of push the envelope, you know, and be like the guy in New Plymouth that's known out of all of us of like, yo, I'm the best, you know what I mean? And I remember bumping into the guy who I live with at the foster home, and I seen him, and you know, I was trying to get liquor and he was trying to get weed, and I had a fat ass tinny, and I was like with my bro Jake, and I was like, yo, you want to swap? And then he's like, what are you up to? And I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go like or something to do with music. And he's like, I'm gonna be the best rapper in New Plymouth. And I was like, no, you're not. And he's like, why'd you say that? And I'm like, because I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
You know. And then we ended up making music together and like becoming really, really good friends. Yeah. And we made an album together. That was like the first thing that I ever did, you know.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
And when was that?
Well, that happened over the process of me living in Wellington.
Yeah.
You know, but when I lived with, when I was real close with him, we were, you know, that's when my friend died, like after that.
So you're like 19, 20?
Nah, like 17, 18.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think so, yeah. He died 19, so yeah. So I would have been 18, so yeah, 18. I was 19 when I went to uni. So obviously I didn't go to uni for math. Hey, I'm just terrible with maths.
But you went to uni for media, right?
Yeah, design.
Design, yeah.
So I just sort of, I just found it was quite interesting. Like we worked on that project for like 4 years. You know, I lived with him and stuff. And
4 years.
Yeah.
Long time, huh?
I really shaped myself. Like that's who I live with in Wellington. We're working on just making heaps of songs and like, you know, trying to go sell mixtapes. And, you know, remember a couple times we traveled from New Plymouth to Wellington, set up a thing on the street, sold CDs. Like, yeah.
How did that go?
Great.
Yeah.
Like, we made money off it, bro. Like, we were hustling. Like,
wow.
Yeah, it was just a kid. Like, you know, I sold drugs and shit before, like, you know, so I could get, you know, like and I wasn't selling like weed and stuff, so I was getting like quicker money, you know, and bigger money. But like when it come to this, it was like legit. And my bro, like we all try to hustle, you know, like we also like my bro, Regan, you know, when we're in this group together, like we were hustlers, bro. Like he's the epitome of a hustler. Shout out my bro Regan.
Yeah.
Shout out Regan, bro. Love you, G. But he's a hustler, bro. Like. He's the type of dude that, you know, we go for a drive to go pick up an ounce or something. He'd be like, I'm coming in. And I'm like, I don't need you to come in, bro. Like, he's like, I got my scales. Like, really wanted to be part of it and like really like loved that because I think he grew up around that, you know?
Right.
And he would come in and be like, weigh it up. And he'd be like, bro, you're short 2 grams. Give me $40 back, you know? Like off the dealer or whatever. And like, you know, he would be like, say if we're like 4 grams short, like 2 grams short, right? He'd be like, that's $20, right?
Right.
But he'd be like, yo, give me 40 back because you're trying to short us, you know? Or like...
Quick math.
And I did so many times where like, he fucked me over, like, because like I was never allowed to go back and get an O because I brought this guy, like, they didn't know who was coming and shit. But like, you know, he's a real hustler, bro. Like, and so we, you know, me and him, I remember being at his house, like, printing these mixtapes up.
Yeah.
They were the bro and him, you know, sort of made them. And we'd gone and like printed these mixtapes and like we'd go selling them like in New Plymouth, like just on the street. Yo, you want to buy a CD, $5, you know? You know, free for 10.
Yeah.
And yeah, and we'd like walk home afterwards, just like geeking out of all this cash on us. Like we made it legit. Like, you know, like this is like, you know, like you got to understand, bro. Like I've grown up my whole life with everyone telling me like that shit is, to be realistic, that shit ain't gonna work. And I'm like, yo, I just made more money than what I could make in 2 weeks working a bullshit job.
Yeah.
Just straight out my hands. Like,
heck yeah.
And I'm building relationships with people, you know?
And just selling your creative output, seeing other people appreciate that and willing to pay money for that.
Bro, they respected the hustle that we're just standing out there.
Yeah.
There's so many kids and shit in New Plymouth that are just like, you know, kind of lost, bro, and like hanging outside the mall and smoking and, you know, getting up to, it's a small town, bro. So what do you fucking expect? There's nothing for youth there, you know? So what do you expect them to do? I'm not judging them because I was one of those kids too. But like, they see those kids, boom, I got a CD. I made a CD and I took pride in the artwork.
Oh, heck
the bro did the artwork. He loves design, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we recorded this ourselves, you know? Like, we don't know what we're doing, but we're going to front, like, this is the only CD you need for the rest of your life. Like, you don't need to go anywhere else. You need to just buy this off me right now. If you don't buy it, it's not going to be here tomorrow. You know? And we have people like parents, like, going into the mall and coming back out with cash. Like, I want 2 of them.
Sick.
You know? And it was just so huge to us, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it was massive.
And
like,
it takes a lot of effort too. I mean, like, I used to record and make like lo-fi hip-hop beats. And, you know, I'm just making beats and it's, you know, I don't need to record my voice or anything. So I kind of have an idea of like how much effort it takes, you know? And like I guess for you guys, you have to write your own things, you know, you got to record your voice. It probably take multiple takes, as well as, you know, if you're making an album, it's going to be few songs too. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of thinking. I think it's a great project, right? You know, even if you guys didn't sell it, even if it was no one bought it, right? I think it's showed you that you can put in effort.
Yeah.
You can have an output through that and you feel accomplished.
Yeah, and we sucked.
You
know, we suck,
have you
bro.
listened back to it recently?
Oh, no, not recently, bro, but it's the same thing as you listening to the, you know, like what you're saying, like it's cringy. Like I think it's cool, you know, because like there's people in my town that like their younger brothers and stuff are making music and they're like, we look up to you, bro, you know? Because we didn't know anyone else that was like going and pushing CDs, you know? Like they look up to me the way I look up to those MPK dudes, you know? Like, and I'm like, wow, like that's endearment at its highest form for me, you know? Because I didn't expect that to happen. I was just doing this shit for fun, you know? And it worked. Like it worked. Like we sold the shit. Like we sold it. Like we had this. There's no doubt in our mind that what we're doing. We just had everyone around us telling us, like, don't do that. Like, let's go get a job. Like, they were right to a certain degree. Like, should have been working jobs and putting that money back into it, reinvesting it. But like, what are you gonna tell me, bro? Like, what are you gonna tell me when I'm that age? Like,
It's tough.
fuck these adults, you know?
Yeah.
Like, all of these people, bro. Like, they ain't onto shit, you know? It's like you know, you just became a teacher because you couldn't get another job, type shit. And like, you can't sit here and tell me to be realistic. Fuck you, just because you settled for it. That's the
Yeah.
mentality I have. I don't have that shit now. Like, I'm like, cool, you know, you was just trying to put me on. Like, that was like loving of you and you're caring for me. You know, you're fearful. You let your fear dictate the fact that you thought I was going to be nothing. You know what I mean? So, but it was cool, bro. Like, I really love and cherish those times, you know? Like, I grew so much and developed so much. Like, those 4 years that I made that project with Damon, like, I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for that stuff, you know? Like,
Yeah.
we really went crazy on it, you know? Like, 4 years, you know? Like, I programmed a font, like,
Yeah.
and had a mental breakdown over it. Like, from every morning, from like the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed for 2 months, like, was kerning and programming a font, like, was retarded, you know? Like, the work that we put into that album is nuts, bro. I threw this big black book away the other day because I don't want to be attached to the memory of that project. But I had a thick black book full of the journey of we paid someone to do the artwork from Berlin. You know, it was like this
Berlin. Huh?
Yeah, this digital art, bro, of like, you know, like concept art for like Lord of the Rings sort of thing. Like, we try to find an artist like that of, you know, me and the bro were on a raft trying to sail away from this evil island, you know?
Okay.
And that was what we were trying to do. We're trying to escape. Like, it was called The Great Escape. We're trying to escape from reality, you know, from this small town. And we decided to draw the small town as like this big burning evil city, you know, that was like trying to turn everyone into robots and, you know.
Wow.
Like, this was what we were on, you know, like, this was our thing. Like, we have to make it out of here because if we don't, we're going to be sucked in by this machine.
Is that how you felt?
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. You know, everything. We're so resentful of everything.
Yeah.
Religion, people, you know. Everyone just telling us to be realistic. You know. It's kind of funny. The bro's nan, when we live with her, she's like, what are you doing all this artwork for? Like, just take a photo of the mountain and put it on the front cover. And I'm like, I don't understand, Dorothy. Like, you know, like,
Dorothy, huh?
Yeah, you don't get me. Like, you know, we just be like, oh, whatever. And then, like, with Guidance, the album that I put out recently, the single cover for Heroic was the mountain.
Mount Taranaki, right?
Yo, I was like, I cracked up. I was like, yeah, she was right. She's a businesswoman, you know what I mean?
She was ahead of her curve right there.
Nah, but she's right, though. Like, what are we fucking... And that's what my mate told me when I came up here for this beat battle. He's like, bro, what are you doing all this shit for? And I was like, because I want to be proud. And when I sell that shit, you know, but it was too much. It was obsessive. You know, it was the swinging of the pendulum, like perfectionism. That's what I did for those 4 years. It was perfectionism. Stupid, bro. We spent like 4 years through blistering summers, you know, during full-on drug addicts, right? Like, just smoking weed all day. And some of these summers that we were recording, a lot of people would get like raided, and there's nothing. Everywhere was dry. And we'd be like, you know, going through withdrawals in the middle of like the blistering heat in a boxed up garage with all the windows closed and everything, and like recording in this room, like this little booth. I fucking was, bro, I'm not gonna lie, like there was a couple takes on the album where I was like butt naked, like, because we built this booth G, and I was like, we had like 4 fans, bro, like on some hustle and flow shit, bro, and we're like, turn the fans on. When the song stops and the fans, when we turn all of them on, it would like shut all the power down and shit.
Right.
You know, like we were just like, you know, when we go back to listening to the shit that we ended up using for that project was like the first takes that we did. We recorded like 4 summers in a row, bro. I re-recorded those songs, like those verses, at least 100 times.
100 times?
Each verse, each chorus,
100
times. And then it's not to mention all the songs that we made for it. We probably made like about 100 songs for the album, and only 12 or 13 of them made the cut, you know? And everything was redone like multiple times, like just, you know? And after that, I realized this is the wrong way to do it. This is perfectionism.
Right.
Like, I just got to lead with like what I like to make,
But I feel like you have to go through the stage of obsession. I feel if I look at successful people, I guess what I'm interested in is like a YouTube, podcasting. You look at Mr. Beast, I don't know what other good examples are, but like Mr. Beast is like an example I always use. He's obsessed with YouTube, making. I listen to his. Have you listened to much of his interviews?
I've seen some of the stuff with like him and Jake Paul and stuff like that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
his Mr. Beast. I listened to some of his like long form interviews, and I find it really inspiring. But everything he gets asked, like what YouTube retention time, like this release schedule time, what he makes YouTube videos about, like his childhood, how he grew up, how he got interested in it. Every single time, what it comes back to is he just wants to make the best YouTube video possible, and he keeps repeating that. Like they ask him about like his decision making, or why did you do this instead of this? He's like, it all comes down. He just thinks about what's the best way to make the best video possible, and he keeps repeating that through different podcasts. Within those podcasts, he keeps repeating that,
Yeah.
and you can tell he's obsessed. It's like a clarity upon clarity upon clarity. Like he gets up, he knows what he wants to do,
Yeah.
and he makes decisions based on that, to achieve that goal.
Yeah.
And I find that common with people that are obsessed, whether it's I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan, so a lot of UFC fighters, for example, that's won several belts. They're obsessed with that.
Yeah, you have to be.
You have to be.
Yeah. And there's that thing with Pollock, like, the painter?
Yeah. What's that?
Pollock?
Pollock.
He was like real famous for his like throwing paint at a canvas.
Yeah.
He said in order to let go of form, you must first understand it. You must know form before you let go of it.
What do you think about that?
I think that's accurate. Like you have to become obsessed before you undo the obsession.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, what's your reference point?
Yeah.
How do you know that you're good at something if you haven't just slaved at it? And your 20s are perfect for that, I reckon. Personally, like I sacrificed my whole 20s.
For that project.
I sacrificed my mental health.
Yeah.
Became an addict. I don't think you have to do that. If I had had some more guidance or, who knows, bro? I'm not here to discuss hypotheticals because I'm in the situation I'm in now, and it's as a result of everything that I've been through compounding. But I definitely agree with you. I think obsession is a really important key ingredient and amongst a lot of very successful people.
Yeah.
A lot of great people. But mind you, I just saw something from Tyson the other day, Mike Tyson, saying that, I know a lot of fucked up great people. There's nothing wrong with being a good person, and that's what I strive to be. A good person, not a great person.
Good person, not a great person.
I like that.
Yeah?
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
Because you can be such a piece of shit being a great person.
You could be.
There's a lot of examples, People say, like, John Lennon was a great person.
Yeah.
Did he treat his child and his wife great? No. Steve Jobs is one of the greats. Was he a good person? I like Tyson because I think he's been through the most craziest experience of human,
heck yeah,
and of human existence, and he understand like I've had it all and I've had nothing, and I prefer it when I got nothing.
He said that?
Yeah, he's like, I'm just nobody. I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah,
I'm but there's something beautiful about him going through that experience, realizing like when he was on top of the world and everyone looked at him like he's this legend, he just didn't love that side of himself. He misses it now, he says, but yeah, I think he's got a real interesting perspective.
Yeah, he's such an interesting person, right? I've listened to some of
the hotboxing.
Yeah, I haven't listened to that actually, but I listened to Lex Fridman. Have you listened to much Lex Fridman podcast?
No.
Oh, I think you'll love that. Lex Fridman, have you heard of Lex Fridman?
No.
He's a AI and machine learning researcher who works at MIT. I think he does a lot of like independent work as well, but he's into that like, that AI side of things.
Does he do stuff with that? Who's it? Nav? What's that guy's name? The Indian guy? Nav.
I don't think
he's
so.
real up on like blockchain and AI.
Right.
You know who I'm talking about?
I'm not sure, but Lex Fridman usually works by himself a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so he's also got a podcast called Lex Fridman show, I think. But he's kind of like Joe Rogan, long form interviews with really interesting guests, and he's super into like mixed martial arts as well. So he has some of his guests are like mixed martial arts people or like boxing people, and he had Teddy Atlas, I believe his name is, who was a trainer for Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
and he had him on, and it's really interesting hearing about training Mike Tyson, and it looks like they really tried to make his anger, the rage that he had in him, to make him basically like a monster.
Yeah.
He gets in the ring, and he's got one thing in mind and nothing else.
Kill the motherfucker.
Just kill him.
Yeah, that's yeah.
You can see him.
You can feel it, bro. You can,
feel him,
like
right?
I'm insatiable. My appetite for destruction is insatiable. Like I wanna eat your children's heart. Like, and when he got asked, he's like, if you could go back and fight anyone in the history of fighting, who would you fight? That motherfucker said like Alexander the Great.
Right.
Like, bro, he didn't say like, oh, I want to fight Ali or some shit.
Yeah.
He would never fight Ali because he has so much admiration for him. But he was like, I want to fight Alexander the Great. I'm like, yo, you're a fucking different breed, bro. Like, you want to kill like the most craziest like war dude ever. Like, you bro want to fight Genghis Khan or some shit, like, nah, he's amazing, bro. Like, his story is interesting. His
So
book is
interesting.
wonderful, bro.
Mike Tyson's book?
Yeah, I read that in
I need
rehab.
to
It's a
read
great
that.
book, bro. Great. Yeah, great book.
But it's so interesting, like him coming from like a rough childhood, right? And then being raised as just basically killing a war machine. And then how he is now seems like really, I mean, compared to that stage, he's calmed down a lot. That's the vibe I get.
Yeah, he's matured. Bro.
He's matured. But like, so someone said, I can't remember where I heard it, but someone said he's still got a lot of insecurity. So apparently some things like tick him, and then apparently he turns like just like that, being a really.
Well, we're just triggered, bro. Like when you get triggered, like everything that you've learned just goes out the door. Like you could be as deep, as wise, and as emotionally intelligent as you want. When you're triggered, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be right back where you started.
Yeah.
And everything that you've learned's gone out the window. You can hear that in his book. Like his autobiography is, because how I judge autobiographies is how they end them.
Right.
Like if you have a really brilliant ending to your autobiography, that's how I did find out who you are as a human being. And in his one, I want to do no spoiler alerts, it ends really beautifully in relation to pigeons, because he
loves pigeons.
Yeah. Like tumbling pigeons.
Tumbling. So it's a specific type of pigeon too.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the
Wow.
this is like spoiler alert.
Yeah. Let's do it.
He references himself to a tumbling pigeon. So the tumbling pigeon or the falling pigeon, I don't know what it's called actually, but it flies as high as it can and then drops to the ground. And right before it hits the ground, it opens its wings.
Right.
And he says, that's me.
In what way?
That he wants to get to the highest point and then self-sabotage it. And right before he hits the ground, before he kills himself, he opens his wings and stops himself from dying.
Yeah.
And that was such a poetic, beautiful way to end his autobiography. And then boom, there's this whole chapter afterwards. Oh, I ain't shit. I ain't never gonna be shit. I'm still a piece of shit. Boom. Like, I'm like, fuck, bro, why'd you just ruin the book?
Yeah.
But that's him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know. I just think when you look at yourself in regards to the rest of the world, and you measure yourself against the world, and you understand how big and how insignificant you are as a human, it's kind of easy to adopt that perspective. Like you're just a blip, like you're nothing. You know what I mean? That's obviously either something that's going to empower you hard out, or it's going to make you feel like,
Yeah. I wonder, do you reckon that's beneficial, that kind of mindset? Because
I don't know, bro. I can't say it's beneficial or not beneficial, especially for someone like him. What works for him might not work for me. I don't know. I think it's important to have humility, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But what about for you? Because it's true that the universe is vast.
But I don't feel small.
You
in
don't
regards
feel
to that.
small.
No, I remember seeing Neil deGrasse Tyson talk about when he first like looked into space, or when he goes into nature and feels like he's nothing compared to everything. He feels that that's empowering, that he's a part of that. That's how I feel. I remember looking at the moon through a telescope
Yeah.
at the observatory, and I'm like, that's me. You know, I had this real deep feeling in me, like, I'm from this.
Like from the earth,
From everything.
from everything. You're
You
part
know?
of the.
I'm part of everything.
Yeah.
And that's powerful. That gives me power, you know? I don't feel it makes me feel insignificant or little.
Yeah.
It makes me feel strong and big because I am everything. That's what I believe we are, bro. I think everything is everything. You know?
Everything is everything.
Yeah, like I believe that, like I am you and you are me, you know?
Are you religious?
I'm spiritual,
Spiritual.
but I'm not anti-religious.
Mm.
I think there's a lot of beauty in religion. I'm really trying to learn more about Islam at the moment, even Christianity.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if I'd become Christian or call myself a Christian, or I like theology a lot, but I'm very interested in Islam at the moment.
What are your? Because I grew up religious and
Catholic,
yeah, and over time, I mean, like when I was younger, as most people, I just went to church because my parents were going to church, and I'm kind of forced to. And as I become independent and started going to church on my own, I developed my own relationship with religion, and so I guess I've got my, like, whether it's right or wrong or whatever, I don't know.
There's no right or wrong.
There's no right or wrong, but I feel like I developed something that, I mean, I feel like I'm always developing. You know, it's not a easy.
Well,
thing
are
that
you staying the same your whole life, or are you developing?
I feel like I'm strive to develop.
You know, as long as you're trying, you're going to.
Yeah.
Nothing stays the same.
Nothing stays the
right?
same.
You change and you develop. So your relationship with the perspectives that you have deepens. Your maturity with it deepens. Just like what you're talking about with Mr. Beast with making YouTube episodes. You know, it's developing. It's the same thing, but you read a book, bro, and then read it 2 years later, shit's gonna jump out at you that you never saw when you first read the book.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And I think one of the things that I'm really happy that I've kind of has been part of my development is that I'm starting to, I had a thought that like maybe like, you know, what you said about we're part of everything, and therefore, you know, there's that kind of, what you call it, like you're me, I'm you, that type of feeling. And I feel like maybe something like similar with religion also applies. Like, you know, say you read the Bible or you listen to what Jesus has to say. There's so much emphasis on like love and kindness
and compassion
and forgiveness. You know, there are things in Bible that are like, if you do this, you must die, you know? And I feel like quite often Jesus always says, forgive, you know? And there was that story that I love about this woman who committed adultery, and everyone is saying, you know, something like kill her or stone her to death. And then Jesus is there saying, oh, okay, stone her to death.
But he who cast the first stone shouldn't hide their hand, wasn't it?
Yes, something like that, right? Like I think what he was trying to say is like someone who hasn't never committed a sin should do that, you know? And the point is, we've all done that. And what I get from that is that it's about forgiveness, right? We make mistakes. We're not perfect.
Well, which is harder?
What do you mean?
Well, what's harder? Is it harder to be compassionate or harder to be aggressive and violent?
That's an interesting question, because it is easy to give in to your anger.
Of course.
It's so easy.
So compassion is the thing that is most difficult.
It's difficult, yes.
You know, like if you want forgiveness and you pray for that, what do you think you're going to get? You think you're going to get forgiveness on a silver platter? Or do you think you're going to get opportunities to be forgiving?
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
I think there's way more similarities with all that shit than there is differences.
Yeah.
You know, like when I ask you this question, what are the two most opposing religions? The ones that oppose themselves the most.
Oppose themselves?
Yeah, like this religion has a resentment towards this religion.
Oh.
What do you think?
God.
In a worldly level?
Yeah.
The two religions that have been fighting each other.
Is it like in the Middle East?
Yeah, bang on.
Right.
This is what I'm thinking, right?
Yeah.
Islam and Christianity.
Islam and Christianity, yeah.
What are the two
Conflict.
most similar religions in the world?
Would it be those?
I reckon.
Yeah.
There's the descendants of Abraham,
Yeah.
you know, which is in the Bible.
Okay.
It's just, you know, they're the most closest related religions in the world. And then you've got Christianity,
Yeah.
and you've got all these different sects of Christianity.
Mm.
Oh no, he wasn't born on this day. It was this day.
Mm.
No, we don't do that. We're not like them. We don't celebrate Christmas. Those guys are weird.
Yeah.
You just both believe in Jesus, bro.
Yeah.
You know, you're getting it wrong, bro. Like, you're looking at the... Well, no, that's not fair for me to say you're getting it wrong. But people look at the specifics of this shit and they go, oh, no, I don't like those people.
Yeah.
When did it become about hating another person's religion?
Mm.
You know, when I worked at this rehab, I had one of the residents turn around and when we were doing the serenity prayer, you know, one of the residents turned around and goes, I don't want to believe in their God.
Right.
Because they say, dear God and our collective higher powers, thank you for this food, rah-de-rah. You know? And this guy's like, why? I don't want to praise your God.
Mm.
Who said anything about praising that God?
Mm.
Just acknowledging him. Or it. Or her. Like, who am I to tell you that your religion or your perspective of spirituality is wrong?
Mm.
And it's a fact. You can't sit there and be like, there's only one God.
Yeah.
You believe in only one God, that's okay. But if you're in a room full of people that have 30 different perspectives on a higher power, which is a very common thing, if you're in a room full of 30 people, you think all of them are going to be on the same page?
No.
Especially spiritually, right? Because everyone's different, right? Why should I not acknowledge what you believe in?
Mm.
At the essence, the view from the mountain's the same, but we might climb it differently, right?
Yeah.
So, and this is what I don't get. In the world, we're like condemning people for their beliefs, when at the core belief of what those things are that we follow is the same thing. Compassion, love, kindness.
Yeah.
How can you stand behind a religion that says you shouldn't kill and kill someone in the name of God?
Mm. Yeah. I think religion is difficult as well because it often dates, a lot of it, the ideas come from sources that date back so long ago, which is,
But that's okay.
it might be out of translation.
Yeah, but I think personally, I think that's okay.
Yeah.
And I'll use this perspective, right? So I've been at different 12-step fellowships, right? And they all whakapapa back to AA. So AA is the first 12-step fellowship program, Alcoholics Anonymous, right?
Mm.
From that you get Narcotics Anonymous, and from Narcotics Anonymous you get SLA, Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous, you get Overeaters Anonymous, you get Under-Earners Anonymous, Debtors Anonymous, CODA, Codependents Anonymous. These are third generation. And when you look at their steps, right, you'll see that the word God has changed. So in AA, it says, step one is we admitted that we're powerless over our alcoholism, I believe. I want to find a book so I know, but anyway, it says we're powerless over alcohol and we admitted that our lives have become unmanageable. Step two is we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. And step three is we made a decision to turn our will and our life over the care of God as we understood Him. And in NA, it's the same thing, I believe, as we came to, but then when you go to the third generation, which are more established in a recent sense, they say we came to believe we handed our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood God, not God as we understood Him.
Yeah.
But I love AA. I love that it's patriarchal. I'm not a patriarch. I just like that when I look at that, it reminds me that that's older. And that's like not necessarily outdated. It is in the perspective of how we look at gender equality and all this sort of stuff. But It lets me know that that work was done in that time, and
Right.
that reflects that. And you look at the Bible, and it's like that too. You know, that's why it's similar, right? It's very patriarchal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Old Testament, New Testament, even New Testament's a way of like kind of we don't stone people anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but like that's kind of cool. Like, I think it's kind of cool that we can look back at that shit. It's just when you have an attachment to it. Because when I first went there, I was like, I ain't seen him. I don't believe that shit. That was the thing that blocked me when I first went there. I was like, fuck God. Like, I don't want to believe in God. Like, you know, why do you fucking take my mate when I was 19? You know, why'd you put me through fucking abusive situations? You know, why'd I, you know, be a victim of certain things in my life? Like, why would God do that to me if there was a God, you know? And then I slowly started to develop my own understanding of God, what God, that word means to me. And then I'm like, I don't mind that. I don't mind when people say it like that. The word water doesn't make you wet in the words of Alan Watts.
Water doesn't make you wet?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It means that the word is a way of describing something.
Right.
It's not, you know, it's not going to make you wet. It's not going to have an effect on you. It's just a
Right.
way of putting your finger on something and being like, that's what that is. And I guarantee you, if me and you sat down now and put our finger on what we believe about everything, morals, ethics, psychology, the world, you give that 200 years and we're going to look like Muppets,
Mm.
you know? And I think that's what it comes down to, is that like that's what the difference between religion and spirituality, in my understanding, is that religion is when you put your finger on spirituality.
Mm.
And when you put your finger on there, it stops moving, right? And it's not something that's progressive. It's something that's ever changing. Your spiritual consciousness should be forever changing and growing.
Yeah.
So when you put your finger on it and be like, that's how I'm living my life, but you're going in this direction, or the universe or nature is going in a forward spiral, and you're stuck here, you know?
It's a journey.
Yeah, facts.
For those questions you asked to God, like why did your friend have to die when you were so young, and all the other questions as well, what are the answers to those questions?
I don't know
now?
them.
You don't know them?
I don't try to know now. You know,
Mm.
I remember in my step 3, I was working on this workbook called The Gentle Path Through the 12 Steps by Patrick Carnes. And a lot of his literature is heavily endorsed by he's like a publisher through Hazelden, through like, for like Slayer and stuff. And I was working through this workbook and got me to write a letter to my higher power.
Mm.
And at first it was just all resentment. My bro's like to me, I'm up in Auckland for this beat battle. Bro, we got tickets to Finding Dory. Do you want to come? I'm like, bro, I want to go see Finding Dory. Like, you know, we got 4 tickets and they just had 1 kid at the time.
Mm.
And he was like, oh, well, there's an extra ticket if you want to go. And I'm writing this letter to my higher power while he's asking me.
Mm.
And I get like 3/4 of the way through it, just got frustrated as fuck. Like, you know, these are the same questions I was asking.
Yeah.
Why this, da-da-da, you know? These are questions I have for if I sat down with whatever entity that is. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just go to this movie because fuck this. Like, so I went to the movie, right? And they sitting over here and I'm sitting all the way back here because the ticket was in a different place, right? I'm sitting next to this lady and her daughter, a few seats down. And I watched this movie, bro, and I just started crying, bro. Like,
Finding Dory?
yeah.
Yeah. Finding
Yo,
Dory.
if I was in that cinema myself, there would have been some ugly cries.
Yeah.
Like, but I kind of, you know, I don't cry that much, bro. So I just started like crying and I was like, fuck, like this fish lost her way.
Mm.
And the more she thought about how to get home, the more she got lost.
Right.
The less she thought about it and followed her instinct
Right.
and her intuition, she found herself back at with her parents.
Yeah.
And that was have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen that.
Bro, the scene where she finds her parents was like just the biggest tearjerker for me, bro.
I want to watch it now.
Yeah, it's amazing, bro. It's a great movie. And so I left that cinema like my narcissistic self, you know?
Yeah.
That movie was made for me, you know? I'm writing this letter to my higher power and like I was just crying like the whole way home and I was just like, man, like this is what I've been doing. I've been trying to find the answers by looking for that shit instead of letting it come to me, you know? It's like that shit knows me. I don't know it. It knows me.
Do you mean the answers know you?
Everything knows me. God knows me. The universe knows me.
Yeah.
I don't need to go looking for something. It ain't lost. What do I got to look for? Straight up, what do I got to look for? I just got to clear the path for myself and make space. That's why my house is so minimal, bro.
Yeah.
Because my perspective on God really matured when I read this book on Japanese design.
Okay.
So I'm reading this book, right? And like the book is like, the writing's all here and the writing's here. And there's a space in the middle. I'm like, what is this shit? Like, this is kind of quirky, like a cool design book, right?
Yeah.
And then each page, bro, each page was like this. One piece of paper like this. You know?
Yeah.
And it's rice paper.
Right.
Japanese rice paper. You know? And I'm like, what? Why is, you know, it holds light a different way? And it's like this, right? And I was super interested in why it does this. And I'm reading the book, and it gets to about 3/4 of the way through. And it says, you may notice the way that this book's laid out. Now it's time for us to discuss the deity in Japanese philosophy or spirituality. They believe that the deity can only exist in empty space.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. You know? And the book was folded in half like this. The pages were folded in half so that the deity can exist through here.
Is that right?
And there's space in the middle. So through the center of this book is centered around the spiritual belief that it's empty, therefore able to occupy God. And I walked home and I was like, I just stopped. And I was like, you think the bird's thinking about the worm? You know, is the bird like, oh, I need to go get a worm? Was the bird just waking up and getting that motherfucker nice and early? Because that's what it's done. And it doesn't think about that shit. And so I was just stopped and I was like, that's it. I struggle logically with coming to understanding Christianity when I was younger, and I was, you know, in foster homes and boarding schools, abusive environments. I see my bros catching the Holy Ghost, speaking in tongues and shit at Christian camps, being like, this shit is corny, bro. Like, I do not get this. Like, these people standing around me, like, crying and praying and shit. And I'm like, these are fucking weirdos. Like, what are you doing? Like, go away. Like, you know? It just didn't click with me. And I always, like, you know, I used to smoke weed, bro, go sit in a bus stop outside. Just right outside the hood. I never lived in there, but I lived on the outskirts. And I'd wait for these Jehovah's Witnesses to get out of their car, and they go through the hood because they're trying to convert people that are in more of a desperate situation because it has a better success rate. And I sit there and smoke my weed and wait for them to get out of the car, and I just debate philosophical shit with them.
Right.
Talk about the Bible, how it's like based all through pagan astrology, and you know, like talk to them about stuff that they might not necessarily know, or look at it, try to fuck them up for like 3 hours so they don't go through the hood and convert everyone, you know? Like, and I'm like, fuck, bro, just go home. Like, what was I up to, you know? Like, what will be, you know? Like, but I'd intellectualize this shit all damn day, like. And so my thing was that when I come to understand God or believe in spirituality, I need something that logically makes sense, and I need something that spiritually makes sense that I don't have to understand. And when I was walking under it, I was like, that's it. If I'm empty of my own thoughts and my own will, then I have space in me for God. And if God exists, therefore the space for God to exist must be clear in order for God to exist. Because it's impossible for this coaster to exist physically without there being space for it.
That's true.
And there needs to be space in the brain to be able to conceptualize this to come into physical existence. Right? So my perspective on deity is very similar to that, and that's very similar to a lot of indigenous perspective towards God.
Okay.
Like, if you look at Māori, they believe that everything comes from the void, te kore, you know? First there's darkness and emptiness, and it's the same in the Bible. First there was darkness.
Yeah.
And then God said, let there be light. So there needs to be space for light to exist. And darkness is the space where light exists. It's just, I just thought to myself, if God exists, God is nothingness. God is emptiness. It doesn't have to be this loving, caring energy. It just is.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm here trying to make sense of all that shit, and I don't need to. So I was really grateful that I read that book, bro, because like, I don't know, stop looking.
Yeah.
You know, and just every time I feel like I'm running on myself, full, just empty myself, you know? Like, I don't need to hold on to perspective. I don't need to do anything. I just got to like embrace emptiness. You know?
I was telling you about this meditation app that I've been using called Waking Up by Sam Harris. And what it's got like 10-minute meditation for each day, which I do. And on top of that, it sends you like every now and again, every couple of hours, it sends you like quick 1-minute voice memos. And one of the things I really love among those many voice memos that I've listened to is like this story about this guy who went searching for fire. So he lit up a torch and he started searching for fire. And if he knew what he was searching, he would have cooked his rice sooner. And I think I resonate with that. Like, when it comes to a lot of things, like I feel like, you know, like what you said about I am you, you are me, and we're part of the universe, and therefore we are the universe, and the universe is us. Like, a lot of things, like what we're searching for, you know, like in this case, could be answers to your questions, might already be here, but in a different form, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You read The Alchemist?
Yeah, I was going to say, I heard The Lessons, one of your song.
Oh, yeah.
Is it Lessons?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I heard you reference The Alchemist, and that's one of my favorite books.
Yeah, same, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I say, like, I feel like you could be my Fatima.
Fatima, yeah.
Yeah, because it was referencing, like, yeah. But that is the common theme throughout it. He went searching, you know, for his treasure, only to realize it was there the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's what you're talking about trying to be obsessive and understanding something, right?
Yeah.
To only realize that the true goal of it was to strip away the obsession. And that's the same thing with ego, I reckon. As like, ego isn't a dirty word. Ego just literally, the etymology of that word means self.
Okay.
In Greek, right? Means self.
Right.
So, what is the perspective or the goal with ego? To destroy your ego?
Yeah.
So how do you destroy something you don't know exists?
Right.
You can't. You have to have ego as a vital aspect of measuring oneself. It's a great tool. It's a mirror for who we are as people. Your ego, the goal is to destroy it, but you need to know it before you destroy it. You know?
Do you think destroying our ego is the end game?
No, I think that's the journey.
That's the journey.
Because can you?
It's
like that. Do you know much about Joseph Campbell?
No.
The hero's journey?
No.
So he talks about he devoted his life to studying myth, bro, George Lucas hired him to do Star Wars to make sure that he's on point with it. So the hero's journey is an archetype of every single hero, from Jesus to Superman to, you know, Maui.
Yeah.
Any hero says that he follows the same archetype. And he has been interviewed on in the 80s. The guy interviewing him was like, well, surely, you know, the goal is to exist outside of the system, and when you've destroyed the system and you exist outside of it, you've won. And he's like, no, the idea is to submit to the system, but to resist it, because that's what breeds the hero. Without the system, you don't get the hero.
Right.
You know? And I think that's the same thing as ego, right? Like, it's like, you can't, you just gotta, you've gotta understand yourself in order to let go of aspects that no longer serve yourself, that serve others, you know?
So the concept reminds me a lot of like the concept of yin yang, like one thing can't exist with the other, you know? Like the goal is to destroy ego, then that what you want to destroy, what needs to be destroyed, or whatever needs to be there in the first place to destroy it.
Yin and yang is such a dope fucking philosophical concept.
Yeah.
It's like so much deeper than what most people know from a surface level of it. Like, yeah, it's crazy, bro. Like, yeah, I love that shit.
I feel like I heard this saying because I used to be obsessed with football, and one of the favorite quotes I still quote when it comes to football or like sports, any kind of sports, or just life in general as well. Someone said, have you seen much football, like soccer? Yeah. So Messi is my GOAT, right?
Yeah.
You know, there be people that disagree to that, you know, but Messi is my GOAT. And someone said this, I can't remember who it was, but he said, it wasn't referencing Messi, but I thought it was perfect for Messi. He said, playing football well is simple. Now, playing football, like football is simple, but playing football simple is hard. When I heard that, I'm like, that's how I feel about Messi. Like when you look at Messi play,
easy.
He makes it look so easy. He's not the type of player you look at him and say, I can see why he's the best player in the world, but surely I can do that too. Because he makes it look so easy, so effortless. It flows.
It reminds me of a quote from Steve Jobs where simplicity is the ultimate sophistication.
And I feel like it applies to a lot of things, right? Like what we said about, I can't remember what context. I think it was an artist, you know, or that painter that those things. You have to get to a certain level to be able to destroy that and get to the abstract level.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's, you know, you're whatever, when it comes to art, when it comes to football, that's simple. It's simple, but doing that simple is hard.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like quite often, at first when I heard that, I applied that to football. I applied it to Messi. But now that's been a few years now. Now I see that in a lot of things.
Even when you look at it from a football perspective of Pelé, you know?
Yeah.
You know that dude?
Yeah, the Brazilian.
Yeah,
the
have
legend,
you seen the movie?
No, I haven't seen it.
Yo, the
Is it
movie's
good?
cool, bro.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, watch it. I'm not
I
gonna
need to watch
I'm not
it,
gonna go into it because it'll kind of ruin it. But
Yeah.
you know, they what do they call it? What's that Brazilian style of soccer? Jenga.
Jenga. Okay. Like,
Jenga, is it?
or samba?
No, it's like Jenga,
Okay.
I think. So this is like this style of football developed through, what's that fighting style? Eddie Gordo from Tekken.
Oh, yeah. What is that called? That
Capoeira.
yeah.
Yeah, so they first were implementing capoeira on slave ships because they weren't allowed to fight.
Okay.
So they'll train non-contact, make it look like dancing, so that they're training for when they resist, you know, slavery. Right. I don't know if it was Spanish or who. And then they got banned from doing that.
Is that right?
And it turned into soccer.
Yeah.
So the art of Jenga is steeped in this historical and cultural perspective of resisting an occupier and holding on to the essence of who you are as a person. And when he went and played for, was it Brazil? Yeah. They wanted to play like Europeans.
Right.
And the coach was like, you have that savage. That's why we lost the World Cup that time, because he was playing the Chenga style. Whereas every single Brazilian had a deep pride for that and thought that that's what separated them from the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And so they went through the World Cup playing like the European teams, and then it started not working. And then this guy, Pelé, reverted back to the Chenga style and reminded of them what makes them Brazilian, and what makes them different, and that's how that's the only way they can win. So they revert back to this style, and that's what they know from the essence. It's the same sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's pretty cool, bro. Like, you know, they went and tried all this other stuff and then went back to what at the essence was their style of playing.
That's cool as. It's
a great movie. It's not the most amazingly shot movie.
Okay.
It seems tacky at some points, but the story is really heartwarming. It's like a really, really heartwarming TV. Movie. I think it's like one of the Yeah, it's pretty up there.
Yeah. No, like what the player that got me into football was Ronaldinho. Man, like I still believe to this day he's got the most unique dribbling style.
How do you say his name?
Ronaldinho?
I always thought he was called like Ronaldo.
Oh, there's Ronaldo, which is like a Portuguese guy.
No, before him, because
before
I
him.
remember my old man waking me up
Yeah.
to watch the World Cup, and he was the man. And
Ronaldo, yeah.
No, not Ronaldo. It must be Ronaldo.
There are two Brazilians. So there's like more than Ronaldo, the Portuguese guy, but there's also Brazilian Ronaldo.
Yeah, that's who I'm
yeah,
talking about.
yeah. He's a beast of a player too.
Yeah, I loved him, bro, because
Yeah.
I think he had that style.
He
Does he have the Chenga style?
he.
I don't know. I haven't looked back on it, but like he
Yeah.
just seemed like the Michael Jordan of that team.
I mean, he's a pure beast. He's one of the goats. Like people will include him for sure. But for me, Ronaldo, I always liked a bit of a like Ronaldo. If you watch Ronaldinho, I think that people are good in different ways, right? But when you watch Ronaldinho play, so he's Ronaldinho played at the same time as Ronaldo. So those two are just tearing everyone apart.
like
right?
Jordan and are they from the same team?
From the same team, like
yeah, so like
from
Jordan
Brazil.
and Pippen sort of thing.
It just I don't know much about basketball, but those two were just
They had a relationship that sort of was like them and then the rest of the team.
yeah they had a
Okay,
close
yeah.
relationship, and they around that time they will win what's called Ballon d'Or, like so that's best player in the football, right? And they both won several times. And for me, Ronaldinho was my favorite player because when he gets the ball, what he does on it, man, like he just moves so smooth, and he's like does beautiful things. It looks like dancing.
It'll be that Chenga style,
It
bro.
will be
It
like
will be. I bet you, bro. Especially if he's Brazilian, bro.
He's Brazilian. He's got long hair, and all his celebrations like dancing.
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
yeah, I love
gangster,
that.
yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah, fuck. I kind of want to get back into watching soccer. You know?
How cool is the thing with football is like, or soccer is like takes a long time. Like it's a 90 minutes game. You know, watching it. You know,
It's
there's
slow burner. Like
break.
might not get a goal for like first whole half, but I love
Exactly.
that because it builds up such a yeah. And I think me being English heritage, like I think it's real embedded in like English culture. You
Yeah.
know? So I think like
Big part of it. Huh?
yeah, my dad always used to geek out, like wake us up at like 3 a.m. to watch the World Cup, you know? Like, and that was so cool to me, you know?
There's a thing about you living in New Zealand a little bit, eh? Like a lot of good footballers in Europe.
Yeah.
And because of that, the hour is fucked, like watching it here.
Yeah, my cousin's real big on it, eh? Like, sorry, cuz, if I get this wrong, but I can't remember if it's
like
who's the opposing Chelsea and
there's Chelsea,
Tottenham and
Liverpool, Arsenal.
I don't know, bro. I saw his story the other day, and he's like right into that soccer culture of like, fuck
Yeah.
you, Chelsea, sort of shit. Like, I'm like, fuck, he's a crack up cunt. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I probably got the team wrong, bro. My bad, cuz, but yeah,
Yeah. One of the British teams, one of the English teams.
because he lives over there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I need to get some water, bro. Is it
Oh,
all
yeah.
good?
I was gonna say, should we
Also-
get that vitamin water out?
Yo, shit, I might freeze it.
Yeah, let's do it. We're back, folks. Back. Got some vitamin water.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, no. Hope you like it.
I love this.
Speaking-
flavor.
Yeah, it's nice, right? Speaking of sponsor, a lot of people ask me if I'm sponsored by vitamin water because I always have it on my podcast.
What do you say?
No, I'm not. I tried. I kind of tried. I made like a short video, like short clip of people tasting it and leaving good reviews and so on. But they haven't hit me out yet. 50 Cent. He's like the face of this, and he's been busy.
Sold it to Koku.
Is that right? Oh wow, maybe that's why. Maybe that's why.
No, it's good.
But it's good. It's good. Have you tried?
Cheers, bro.
Oh, cheers, sir. Good to meet you, Chris.
Yeah, likewise, bro. Great
Yeah.
conversation. Yeah, I'm
No,
enjoying this.
For sure, yeah, for sure. It's really interesting. I mean, like when I came here, like I loved seeing all these books here. The way you design the whole place is, there's definitely I can feel the intention behind it.
Thank you, bro.
And I can, you said you studied design, right? Like, it shows you care about it and you're good at it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you're into. I mean, you see, you have a lot of fashion designers here, and you were
Yeah.
saying earlier, like you're into fashion design and functional design.
Yeah. Yeah, design in general. It's just like a different tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that.
I'm not well versed, in different designers and the intricacies of what they've brought to the table. But that's why I have all these books here so I can understand. I'm pretty familiar with Coco's story.
Yeah.
Like just because I read a lot of Robert Greene.
This Coco Chanel,
Yeah. I read a lot of Robert Greene.
Robert Greene.
Yeah, he wrote like 48 Laws of Power and Laws of Human Nature, Mastery. You read Mastery?
Nah.
You gotta get that book, bro.
Yeah.
That shit is amazing. Yeah.
You read so much, Chris.
Nah, I don't. But
You don't?
I like books.
But like all these like people and like I mean even the like stuff that you remember to quote.
Books are sexy, bro. Like books are sexy, bro.
They're sexy. Yeah.
If you're on the bus, bro,
yeah.
and you're reading a book, you're way hotter than anyone on their phone. Like,
That for real though.
yeah, bro.
Like-
what are you reading? Like,
Me-
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's what I think when I see someone
I
reading.
see,
I'm like,
yeah,
yo,
yeah.
what are you reading? And then what it says a lot about people when you find out what they're reading.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, and when I see someone read, right? If it's a lady and she happens to be good looking too, it's like, damn, like
Yo,
I'm like
books are
so
attractive,
into
bro.
that.
Reading is sexy.
Yeah.
Reading is sexy.
And I don't
Go get a fucking library card. How
Hell-
you gonna be at the club every weekend, but you ain't got no library card?
for
Get your fucking priorities straight.
there are two things in the world right now that I think is OP, right? That I feel like I feel like I'm scamming every time I do this. First is fruit. It's delicious.
Yeah.
It's got so much nutrition.
This is fact.
it's just so sweet. Like,
Yeah.
how is blueberry healthy for you? It's ridiculous.
Yo.
Fruit. And the second thing is library card. I've got hundreds of books out the library, and I've read. I mean, hundreds is probably
No, that's
But I could
calm. I got like when I got all this shit.
yeah.
Like this whole shelf here, this whole wall here was filled, and it was like color graded, so it was like black to like blue to. I made it go in a gradient, and
Yeah.
like I go and get books that look interesting,
Mm.
but like this is a great, like that's a great book, just as like that with the fucking house plant.
Prada.
You know what I mean? Like that
Catwalk.
looks gorgeous.
That
like,
looks cool.
and so like I like the fact that I can go to the library. I
Yeah.
got out 35 books, 40 books, bro, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Reading, bro. None of your fucking business." Nah. I just, they were like, "Oh, are you studying? Do you study fashion?" And I was like, "No, I will be though." Like,
And it's free.
yeah,
How ridiculous is that?
bro. Libraries are underrated. bro.
Library is overpowered. It's on. I mean, for those people like us who use library regularly, it's kind of good that it's underrated because otherwise it would be harder to get the books you want to read, right? And,
Yeah, but
like,
then you'd have more people getting more books.
that's true, and therefore they will be more available, because there's the demand is there. Yeah.
They get more funding and shit. I
Yeah.
reckon. Yeah, I'm a big avid thing of like, you might have the newest Jordans and all these clothes, but you don't know when your fucking child had a nightmare last. You got your priorities fucked up. If you're at the fucking club all the time and you ain't got no fucking library card, what are you up to? Like, it's never been cool to be ignorant. It ain't never been fashionable to be left behind. It's not fucking cool, Even if I don't know. It's never been gangster to be a fiend, bro. Like, it's never been attractive to be an addict. Like, even though I'm an addict, you know what I mean? Like, it's not cool. Like, what's cool is being bossed up, having your finances in check, having your body in check, having your intellect, the whole fuddy top of fire, like having all that shit on lock. That makes you dangerous,
Yeah.
That makes you fucking dangerous. That makes you deadly in this society, I'm big on libraries, bro. Even I go there like when I have tasks that I need to do, like, what we're talking about with things that I'm trying to create.
Yeah.
I don't really want to talk about them too much because I want to take the power away from them, but I'll go to the library and book a room out and just go there for the whole day.
Right.
Work on my stuff, brainstorm, vision board, You know, once a month I'm there at the library, book out a room for free.
Yeah.
You know, and I just go in there and then, you know, and just go get books, read, walk around,
Yeah.
get outside of my natural environment, because I'm in here a lot, and that's why I try to make my house look nice. Like, I need artwork on the walls. You know, I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I've got quite an acquired taste for certain things, so they're quite expensive. So it's a process.
Right.
But I love making my house feel clean, simple,
Okay.
and an extension of me because I spend so much time here. You know.
There's so much to be said about the environment you surround yourself in, the people you surround yourself in. Whether if it's even if it's just like going to the library, you don't read anything, just walking around amongst all the books that's there, amongst other people who are doing their own shit there. You know what I mean? It's inspiring, and there's something to be said about that.
And there's a diversity of who's there for what.
Yeah.
There's some people that are there because they got nowhere to be on the street and they're sleeping there.
Yeah.
And then there's people there that are like studying for something, but they're not studying, they're just on their phone,
Yeah.
procrastinating. There's such a wide range of people there.
Yeah.
And
Everyone's there.
It's cool,
Everyone
bro.
is welcome. Everyone can be there.
The Auckland library's amazing, bro. I reckon all libraries are like, you know, you could walk around and find a pocket or something that you... I remember when I was living in Wellington, I got a book out on permaculture.
Permaculture.
Yeah, you know what that is?
No.
It's like where you grow, like it's like a farm, but it's interdependent.
Okay.
So like you might build a hut or whatever, or a slope in a mountain, so the elk that you raise, can graze under shelter,
Right.
and then that ecosystem supports something else.
Yeah.
So it's like
yeah.
more indicative of nature. And I
Right.
read this book about this guy who got he got a court case against them because he had a lake develop on his property,
Mm,
and animals were crossing the road, and someone was complaining about that.
right.
And he won against the court because he said the natural state of the land was to occupy a river there.
Ah.
And all he did was nurture the river to exist. He didn't create a river there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I'm like, I will never read that shit. If
Yeah.
I just walk around and pick shit up. And I'm like,
That's cool.
oh, the cover intrigues me. You know, don't judge a book by its cover. Whoever
Mm.
said that I don't know. That's weird. Like, a good cover is... I've been around people long enough to know that they can judge a book by its cover. Like, I like being around people that can judge a book by its cover. Like, an actual book, not a person. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
It's weird because you can fully judge people from their exterior.
That you can. I think I get what that quote is trying to say, right?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, yeah, but there are things that you can tell about person. Like if someone's in shape, for example, you can tell, it's not easy to be in shape. You have to eat right, you have to exercise.
Requires an
regularly.
aspect of discipline, right?
Exactly. You can see that, okay, this person has at least some level of discipline, right? To being in shape, and they take care of their hair and stuff. It's like, okay, they take care of themselves.
Yeah.
And I think there's a reason why we find people like good looking or whatever, like it's like an evolutionary advantage.
Yeah, to see
Thanks
if
to
that
that.
person's applicable.
Yeah,
And it's always through physical aspects, right?
a lot of it is physical.
Like, even their smell, like their pheromones. Like,
Exactly.
if you don't like the smell of somebody's natural odor, then they're not a suitable partner for you.
Yeah.
That's nature letting you know that. I look at that, I think of that with shoes.
With shoes,
Yeah, like I look at people's shoes and I see how they lace their shoes.
right?
And I'm like, that says a lot to me about
Is
a
that
person.
right?
Yeah.
Shoes,
Yeah.
huh?
I'm just big on keeping my shoes very clean.
Right.
And I lace them a certain way.
Mm.
And I see other people that lace their shoes that way, I instantly know I'm going to get along with them.
Is that right?
Yeah. I lace them differently. Like, I think that's just some hip hop shit,
Right.
Like, it's always been about style. Like, everything is style. It's not, style is the vehicle, bro. Like, always.
You're into, like coming from your background design, right? That must take big part of your whatever you get up to. Obviously your clothing line, as well as your music, right?
Mm.
Yeah, it will be a big part of it always, I imagine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever you do.
Yeah, everything's about problem solving.
Yeah,
Solving a problem.
yeah.
And there's not one right way to do it. And that's design.
That's design.
Yeah. But, you go into any medium and there's universal truth through any vocation. So like what you're talking about, like mathematics,
Mm.
like there's the essence to all understanding of all knowledge there is in the world can be the core principles of universal truth can be found through mathematics,
Yeah.
can be found through business, can be found through painting, can be found through music, anything. Yeah.
I believe so. I mean, like, I feel like mathematics is such a good example because it's one of very few arts where there is right and there is wrong, and that distinction is clear. And mathematics, what I really like about it is, like, the more I studied, the more I realized that it really is a language that you can use to communicate with universal
It's a
truth.
tool.
Yeah,
It's a
It's a
tool.
tool.
Everything is a tool.
it's a tool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I love that. It's very. I mean, I'm a bit of a romantic. You know, I'm a hopeless. You know, when it comes to movies, for example, like romance is like my favorite genre. Rom-com, especially.
What's your favorite rom-com?
I would have to say it's not strictly rom-com, but there's romance elements to it. But About Time, have you seen About Time?
No.
It's not a typical rom-com. It's not.
Yeah, I don't like typical rom-coms like
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey type shit. Like I like ones that are like introspective. Have you seen Thanks for Sharing?
Nah.
It's about this he's a sex addict.
Mm.
And it's Gwyneth Paltrow and Mark Ruffalo.
Okay.
Got Pink, bunch of other people in it too. It's a really great.
Cool.
It's rom-com, but
Yeah.
it's like more of like a drama, I'd say. Yeah.
What do you think about like classics like Mean Girls? Is that rom-com?
Yeah, I don't know about Mean Girls. That ain't my
Mm.
cup of tea.
How about like how about
I'm a thriller. I'm a
You're a
slut
thriller
for thriller.
guy, huh?
Yeah, I'm a slut for thriller. Psychological thriller is
Oh,
like my
bro.
category. That's it. Like, and drama.
yeah, drama and thriller.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorites?
Bro, that's so hard, bro. Like,
throw some out there.
I'll tell you what I've been watching recently that I really like.
Okay.
Have you seen The Stranger?
The Stranger. Nah.
It's about this Australian guy who moves to a different town to
Mm.
avoid a court case, and the police set up this huge, intricate ring to like sting him
Mm.
and to find out whether or not they create this crime ring around him and
Mm.
pull him in as like a prospect to this organized crime ring. That's based on a true story. That's
Right.
amazing. I think it's called Reptile
Okay.
with what's that guy's name, bro? The Mexican actor. It's got Justin Timberlake. Where's
Oh,
my
wow.
phone? Where's my phone at?
Oh, I've got my phone here. Reptile, as you say.
Danny. What's his name?
I don't know many actors.
You'll recognize him.
Should I type Reptile?
Yeah, and then go Justin Timberlake.
Justin
It might be called
Timberlake.
Rattlesnake. I can't remember.
Reptile, Justin Timberlake 2023 movie.
Good cast.
Benicio del
Yo,
Toro.
he is a
Benicio del
man, G.
Toro.
He's an amazing actor, bro.
Ah.
Yeah, I seen that. That's dope. That's like very True Detective-esque.
Yeah?
What else have I watched recently that I really like? Well, I've been
That's
watching.
cool.
I've been watching the season 4 of True Detective,
Yeah.
The Night Country.
Okay.
That's ill. Movie wise, bro.
Detective movies. Detective series, huh?
Yeah. I can't remember what it's called. Someone told me what it's called. It's when each season is completely different actors,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
but they have a common thread throughout them.
yeah.
But what else have I seen film wise that I really like? Oh, I like Blue Bayou. Have you seen that?
Blue Bayou.
Yeah.
Nah.
About this Korean guy. He's an immigrant in America, and he has a child. Well, he's in a family where he looks after this woman's child, and then she becomes pregnant,
Mm.
and he's trying to go legit, and her ex-partner, the father of her child, is a cop,
Okay.
and he's he's resentful and tries to fuck him over and
Shit.
gets him deported back to Korea because his papers weren't legit and shit.
Right.
That's shot on film. That's real gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched Athena. Have you seen Athena?
Yeah, nah.
It's shot as a Greek tragedy,
Okay.
like 300 sort of shit.
Yeah.
It's in
Athena.
the hood in France. They have these four brothers, and one of the young brothers gets killed by a group of extremists, and they think it's the police,
Right.
and they create this huge riot against the police.
Yeah.
And it's shot like a like a Greek tragedy movie.
I've heard about this recently on Joe Rogan podcast. Actually,
it's dope, and the BTS is on Netflix too.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are some of the films that I've seen. But as far as like classics, like what I love, like I'm gonna go. I like La Haine,
Okay.
which is a French film,
Yeah.
very similar to Athena, but it's shot on black and white. I really like American Psycho.
Man, I
Heat.
haven't seen that. Heat. Okay.
You seen Heat?
Nah.
Robert De Niro and Al Pacino.
No.
I like Carlito's Way.
Okay.
These are some of the movies that I repeatedly watch.
Yeah. Classics.
Oh man, my brother's the man with film, bro. My brother's like so on with film. Yeah,
He's a film guy.
he's a film buff, like
Yeah.
almost like on some Rain Man shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he knows the cast, he knows the director, he knows what the director's done his whole life. You know,
Wow.
like, and he's the same with music too.
Yeah.
Like, my brother has a very vast knowledge of music. I think he gets that from my father, but yeah, I'm a big film geek.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
Did you like any of the Jordan Peele stuff? Like Get Out,
Yep.
Us.
Get Out was fire. I haven't seen Us.
Oh, I love those. And there was a
Yeah.
recent one, Nope. That one is a bit different. But yeah, I'm on, like I said, I like chill movies, like, like a feel good movies, you know what I mean? Like easy to watch movies. But those, I really enjoyed those ones because it
Get
carries
Out was
messages.
have you seen Atlanta?
Nah.
Bro, you gotta watch Atlanta.
Wait, who's that by?
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover? Is that right? Yeah. Ah, okay. Is that a series, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
It's
series.
one of the best TV shows. I reckon.
Really?
Yeah, hands down.
That even better than Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I'm not big on anime.
Are you another anime guy?
Nah.
Yeah.
You know why? I got half an hour of television a day when I was young.
Yeah.
I watched Dragon Ball Z, and that shit ruined it for me. I'm like, I watched this dude power up for half an hour for a spirit bomb, and he didn't even let it go, and I gotta go outside now and play.
I know, right? Yeah.
But as an adult watching Dragon Ball Z,
Yeah.
and Dragon Ball, like that's tough. Like I love it now because it's very philosophical, and a lot of the names and the characters are all very like relative to certain concepts. Like, there's like a lot of Chinese philosophical concepts in there, and like, kings and stuff like Kamehameha and like Krillin is like he's like a Shaolin monk,
Okay.
with the 6 dots.
No. Yeah. I know Krillin in Dragon Ball Z. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I think you like Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh
Chris,
I've been around people that watch it. Like, I like it. It's cool.
Yeah.
There's something about that style of anime that I just in general, bro. Like I've tried to watch like Spirited Away and stuff like that.
Oh, like the Studio Ghibli kind of thing.
Studio Ghibli stuff's beautiful, bro.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't hit.
Is it the storyline?
Nah, it's the
art.
Yeah, and I find a lot of animes overly expressive.
Yes.
I hate actors that do that shit.
Right. You want to see some like more real, more representative.
Yeah, I don't
real
like. What's
thing.
it called? Method
acting or whatever.
Yeah, I don't like.
Yeah.
I like very convincing stuff. I'm very analytical of stuff like that. So yeah, but that's just my taste.
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful and it's mastery for sure. Like a Studio Ghibli shit is just gorgeous. You take frames from that could be artwork on the wall.
for
you
sure.
know? But
Yeah.
I just don't know. It just doesn't gel with me.
I have a lot of sentimental values to those too, because growing up in Korea, obviously quite close to Japan, there's a lot of Studio Ghibli influence. Like, as a kid, you watch that growing up kind of thing. So like Totoro, which is like a classic Studio Ghibli movie.
Yeah.
I remember watching that and thinking like, wow, like this could be real, I felt like it could be real. And my grandma's house was a little bit like that, like a little bit worn down, countryside. There are a lot of corners that anything can be there,
It's what you want, eh? You want you want that sort of stuff to make you feel like it's real.
Yeah, exactly.
That's imagination right there.
Yeah, because I still remember the feeling I get, which is like very unique to that feeling I got. And when I feel like the sentimental value is there, and I don't get anywhere else except with like Studio Ghibli products.
Yo,
Yeah, so that's cool.
type of nostalgia, eh?
Type of nostalgia, it just hits me right here.
Yeah, that's mean, bro. But yeah, no, big film buff. Like when I look at like how I direct like music videos, there's a lot of directors and stuff out there, or people that I know that are on the come up.
Yeah.
They look at other music videos, and I don't look at other music videos. I look at film. So I'll constantly be watching film and be like, I love that transition.
Right.
It's a lot more subtle, and I'm like, I want to do that in my stuff, but this way. I never look at things and try to emulate the exact shot. I try to emulate the concept behind it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't try to copy something. I try to copy the approach to something.
Is it same with your music?
Yeah, absolutely. I might get inspired by a bar.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, that's a really unique way of word playing that.
Mm.
And I try to apply that same thing and just redo it in my own way. I try to take the essence of why it was done that way.
Who are some of your influences?
Musically?
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff that we talk about outside of music.
Oh, is that like?
Yeah.
Okay, like what?
Joseph Campbell.
Yeah. The hero's arc.
Yeah, a hero's journey.
Hero's
the
journey.
archetype of that. I get a lot of inspiration from literature.
Mm.
But musically, like what I've been listening to lately is a lot of like Homeboy Sandman. I'm very big on Nas.
Nas, huh?
Yeah, for sure, bro.
Harry
Like,
Mack's huge on Nas.
Nas is the greatest, bro.
You think
Nas
so?
Is Nas is
The greatest ever to do it?
Yep.
Damn.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
You know?
Illmatic.
Yeah. Illmatic was a very pivotal album for me when I found it. I found it quite late. Like I found it when he'd put out Hip Hop Is Dead. I just found his discography all at once.
Yeah.
And was just blown away. But yeah, Nas to me is like there's nobody. There's nobody like Nas.
Damn.
Yeah. No, he's insane to me. Heaps of people, bro. Like I'm a big student of the game. Like I love finding new people as well.
Yeah.
And people that I've never heard of before. I'm a real big fan of Dilla, like Jay Dilla for sure. Jazz, but I like going outside of just hip hop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. And I have to say, because I used to write and record myself too. Just in my own way, right? Because I used to make beats, and I always loved writing. Because I grew up with when I was at school, all my friend circles we listened to hip hop, and I loved like Eminem, and like just trying to like rap.
So I've actually been really getting into like Eminem recently.
Yeah,
like his older shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah, bro.
It sounds so cool, right?
It's so funny, bro. It's so funny. Like,
so funny.
You know,
so
what do you say? I met a retarded guy named Greg with a wooden leg. Took the peg off and beat him over the head. Like, you know, go to sleep with a keg, wake up with a 40. Like, just like, you know, blah blah blah. Babysit it. I throw a stroller at you with the baby in it. Like, fuck, he's so funny, bro.
He's
like,
so funny, so like unapologetic, you know.
Yeah,
so
imagine if someone
himself.
come out with that music now, bro. Cancelled,
Bro. Honestly,
Cancelled.
can you imagine that? Well, like, what is it? Is it gonna be a phase, Chris? Like, is it gonna be like this, and then that opposite side will push back again?
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
I don't know. I can't predict the future, but I think that sounds, you know, pretty. What was it? Who was it? Mark Twain.
Okay.
History doesn't repeat, but it has a way of rhyming. Yeah, but it rhymes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I butchered it. My man Ricky Paul showed me that recently again. Brought that to my attention again. That's a great quote.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, things go in cycles.
It's going cycle now.
Yo.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, I think every guy, I feel like has had Eminem phase, you know, like.
Yeah, I'm just glad that my Eminem phase was rooted in like the older stuff. I just think he's hilarious back then. Like, he just like, You know, Eminem spelt with an E, better check. What do you say? I laced the weed with insect repellent. Better check and smell it. Like, it's just like, fuck, he's funny, bro. Like, I listen to that shit. Even like one of my favorite verses from him was the one with Watch These with him and Thurston Hell. When he's like, whose arm is this? I must have cut it off at the pharmacist. When they refused to resume my 7 prescriptions, the diver said, I'm the old man who lives upstairs and starves his pet and never leaves his house because he thinks his car's possessed. I hate my life. That's why I degrade my wife. Got a paper plate to make a sandwich. It just ate the knife. Like, you know, like, it's fucking like, bro, who sees that shit, bro? Like, it's so funny, bro. Like,
Bro, and like, have you seen this like clip of Dr. Dre talking about them making Hi, My Name Is?
was that from the documentary, the Dre documentary?
I haven't seen the documentary, but it looked like it was
Yeah.
from a documentary.
Yep.
Yeah, it was so cool because they're playing like the beats in the background, and it's such a recognizable beat, right? Like everyone knows that beat now. And then they were saying like how Eminem listens to it, and he goes like, he comes up with hi, and hi, my name is hi.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so cool.
Yeah,
How cool
bro.
is that?
Yeah, M's dope. Like,
He's so cool.
yeah, hard out.
Is that kind of your writing process? Like, what do you start with? Like, do you start with beats? Do you
Yeah,
start with-
always.
Always?
Yeah, always. I might like be riding around and shit, like on the bus to work, or, you know, listening to music when I'm working on stuff downstairs in the garage for the clothes stuff, or if I'm doing art, I tend to not listen to rap, but I'll listen to stuff and something might strike me and I'll put it in my notes.
Right.
So I'll get a arsenal of like one-liners or word plays that I've come up with.
Yeah.
Because I've heard someone say a word and it's triggered something in my brain of like, oh, you know. And then most times I just like find a beat, like I get packs from my friends.
Okay.
I used to produce, but my friends are so talented at producing that they sort of taught me to just fucking stay in my lane.
Yeah, yeah. Or is it like, do you work with different producers?
Yeah, I work with like very closely with like some of my good friends that I went to university with.
Like
so
K-Dubs.
yeah, K-Dub, Sunny, which is Next Waves, Susu, you know, Ghosts, heaps of people, bro.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna forget names, but you know, like
So
there's
many talented artists.
yeah, bro, and to me they're all world class, like very world class. And then on the odd occasion, I might work with overseas producers. Like
Wow.
I'm always trying to tap in with people whose sound I like and like let them know that I appreciate it and sending my stuff off. Like, you know, we should work on stuff. And I'll just usually just write. I'll write to beats. I'll get batches from them. Like Keith K-Dub will send me batches like quite regularly, or
Wow.
Sunny will send me batches, and Christian Susu will send me batches. Shout out to all of you. I appreciate all of you.
Yeah, talented. I love seeing like local talented artists.
Bro, there's so much talent here, bro.
There's so much. And the shame, like, what's shame is that a lot of people haven't heard of them.
Yeah.
You know, like even for me, I'm only finding it out through you, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm not really in that, like, I'm not really going out of my way to look out for it, you know, which is.
Yeah, and I
But-
think in some ways some of them aren't really going out of their way to be found. You know,
Right,
they're
right.
just happy doing what they're doing, and that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I get that, and I'll just sit at home and I'll just write with something on loop for ages.
Is that right?
Yeah, or I'll just, if I'm really fucking with something, I'll just put my headphones on and I'll mumble into the microphone
Yeah.
like the whole track, and then I'll go back over and put words to it.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
That's definitely my favorite process when working with like singers, like vocalists.
Mhm.
Is I'll just hum shit, or we'll just hum stuff and be like or whatever, and it's gonna go there, and then we just got like a whole demo of like mumbling and like
So you come up with a melody?
first and foremost,
Yeah.
always. Yeah, the flow of it is, like I said before, it's style. Style is the most important aspect of everything,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
How do you think you developed over time? Like in terms of your style, in terms of your writing?
That's a good question. I think I was talking to my homie Louis the other day. He's a real talented dude from At Peace, an average rap band. Have you heard of them?
No.
It's like, you know, Tom Scott.
Tom Scott.
From
I
Homebrew?
recognize the name.
They worked on some other projects afterwards, and Louis is the vocalist from there. And he was saying like some people are just better at hiding their influences than others,
Right.
you know. And I agree with that. I just copy people, you know. When I was younger, and all that music that I was talking about that I found, I just try to emulate that, an essence of that, until I feel like I've got my own sound. And I think I got my own sound.
Yeah, heck
But
yeah,
I
I'll say so.
I feel like I'm developing it still,
Yeah.
you know, because there's always somewhere to go with it. There's always stuff that, you know, just when you thought you found it, it's going to move on you, you know? Like, I feel there's so much stuff that I want to still do that I haven't done. And that's not to prove to anyone else. It's to just kind of explore different aspects of myself. So I've been very deep and very introspective, and I would like to let go of that a little bit more and have more fun, you know? I think that's what I've been doing with these freestyles. Yeah.
The 1 week per day.
Yeah, yeah.
That's such a commitment. 1 per week. Isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
53 weeks.
Is it 53 weeks this year?
No, like, I think that's what you had on your Instagram.
52 is a
52
week, right?
is a year?
But is
52 or
a
53.
year. But that's a leap year, right? Is it a leap year?
It could be.
Damn, I fucking chose the wrong year. Nah, when I get to the end of that, bro, I'm not going to be tripping about 1 more week.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'd love to keep doing it for the rest of my life.
Yeah, one
But one
freestyle
day at
per
a
week.
time, bro. We'll keep 1 week at a time. There's
Yeah.
been challenges in doing that.
Heck yeah.
But the interesting thing about this is, bro, right? So I wanted to talk about this because this has been a real pivotal thing for me.
Okay.
I remember I went to this workshop thing. It was called Going Global. It's like a music seminar that they have that's hosted by a lot of independent music and major labels. And they all have Roundhead Studios just up on Newton Road. And they, you know, have these different masterclasses.
Okay.
And one lady did this class, and it was like a sign up. Everyone signed up. You pay a certain amount of money, and then they hold you accountable to put a song out each week.
Right. Damn.
And I felt real like duped by it. Like I signed up for it
Yeah.
and paid for it, and I was like, "Nah, fuck this. This lady finessed me," you know. Like I don't have problem with like releasing a song each week.
Right.
I don't know what it was at the time, but I felt forced into doing it, and like you know, there was that pressure of like, oh, it's only today's only offer, you know.
Yeah.
And but now that's what I'm doing with this stuff.
Yeah.
So my initial thing, my homie Dez, shout out to Dez Ryder, he did it last year, and he went every single week, wrote something and recorded it on his phone, and stayed consistent. And if you understand what Dez does in his life, he's a father of multiple children,
Wow.
a very present, good man of a father, and he works full time as a youth advocate.
Wow.
and is very like, he's a hardworking man, you know. And so he'd do this stuff where he'd write it every week, film it on his phone, and put it out all by himself, like sort of thing. Someone might help him shoot the video with his phone and stuff. But he did that, and I was always so inspired by that. Like, I was like, man, that's amazing. Like, bro, who the fuck do you know that can do that? And
Such hard.
with that consistency, knowing what's on his plate, right? And so I was like, maybe I should do that, you know? Like, I've got all these releases that I want to put out this year, but like, if I can just do one thing a week, like, and heaps of people asking me, like, bro, you haven't seen anything from you for ages. Like, when are you going to drop shit? And I'm like, well, I should just do this. But my focus for this 52-week challenge was when I first started to make something cinematic. Like, all these aspects of what I love to do, mixing, writing, recording, filming, editing, you know, I want to put them all together and try and make the highest form of something out of just some freestyle stuff. You know?
Every week.
Every week. And that was my focus. And I feel like the first week, we went to film it, and I was like, oh, it's the first week. Like, nearly almost didn't do it. Just had the phone on a tripod, you know, because I wanted to cook a barbecue. By the time the bro came around, we just cooked the barbecue, and I did that shit real quick.
Yeah.
You know, you can see me like forgetting my lyrics and shit. No, I don't give a fuck. And then the next week, we did the filming of it and made it real cool. I reckon, you know, for what it is. It's just a freestyle thing. Like, I feel like I've developed quite a taste in a image visually, you know. I feel like that's one of my 5 things that I do, you know. And I really wanted to be like this. I want this to be very cinematic and feel very high quality. That was my initial thing of it.
Yeah.
Then I did, it wasn't last week, it was a week before. I did some juicing.
Juicing?
Yeah. Like, we went to the markets, and I got the stuff that I do for my juices. Like, I do wellness shots, and I do like a jalapeno, green apple, celery, pineapple, and mint juice.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was so me.
Right.
Like that was me, bro. Like if you know me that that's me. Like
Yeah.
I love cooking, you know. I fucking love it. And I tied that together with the experience of going to the markets,
Mm.
you know. So we came home and I shot this and I was like, that felt the best out of all of them.
Yeah.
And the bro turns around to me, Dallas goes, yeah, this is mean, bro, because it's about memories.
Mm.
You're creating memories around what you're doing. And I was like, that's it. That's my driving focus for this year. It's not to be consistent. That's a byproduct of what I'm doing. That'll happen. If I do it every week, I'll get it. But the whole focus of this 52-week challenge for me now is to create memories around my music. And then the secondary perspective is to be consistent and to put out a high quality product,
Yeah.
you know? But it's so much cooler now that I'm like, what can I go do? And then
Yeah.
that was a week after that, we went for a paint. Like we went painting. I haven't painted since I've been in Auckland.
Mm.
You know, I'm not an amazing graffiti artist. I just like to get up because it's fun.
Mm.
And I can look at these guys that I went for a paint with, like Smooth, Swerve, and another bro, and a couple of videographers and stuff. And we just like had fun, bro. Like,
yeah.
and you know, that's me. Like, and so I was like, man, that's a real memory. Like, that's some shit. I'm capturing a memory of what I did this year, you know? And it was just beautiful. And it was like, okay, like, and there's so the one that we filmed it the other day, yesterday or something. And it'll probably be out by the time that this drops. But we just had a barbecue. Like,
Yeah.
me and Simi, who I made the song with, came around and we just cooked on the Weber. And I just did it like a couple takes.
Yeah.
And it was just fun. And I'm like, okay, this is the driving force of why I'm doing what I'm doing now. It's to use the music as a tool to connect me to what I love and to capture the essence of what that is and to do that once a week.
Right.
And that's not just making me feel like I'm delivering content and then I'm putting something out that's cool. It's like I'm exploring myself, you know?
it's an
Do you reckon
expression.
that'll be picked up?
I reckon we'll be fine.
Okay,
I
sweet.
reckon we'll be fine.
It's kind of nice hearing people have fun.
Yeah, sounds like a lot of fun. Do you reckon that's an expression of your creativity
Yep.
and art,
Yeah.
and that's why you like it?
Yeah, I think it's because it makes it then a vehicle for me to enjoy my life
Yeah.
as opposed to be a grind.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've struggled with in the last couple of years. I feel like I've gotten really close. Like when I first put merch out, I felt like this was great. Like it's that same sort of thing of me and Regan selling CDs on the street. It felt like that. Whoa, like this could work, you know? Like I could run a business model around this, you know? And this could not just like, this could be a business model, but when I think of that and I think of a business model, I think of the stuff that's tied to it, like the sustainability of my career in a long-term sense. He's always going to need money, you know?
Yeah.
And if I've got money to pour back into it, then I can help develop the world into a better place by putting love into the world, right? So there's that aspect. There's this aspect that, you know, my merch and stuff can be something that helps my career and helps create garments that are functional and maybe help somebody realize that that's what they want to do and follow that path too or something. And I think like the last few years I've really focused on that, especially the last 6 months that I've been running my business by myself. And what I was saying about like bringing in enough money to pay my rent, but not necessarily being able to scale it.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm so close with that,
Yeah.
like really, really close to like a breakthrough with that, of turning that into its own thing. I feel like I'm really, really, really on the edge with what I'm doing with my actual production of music. Like I really feel like I'm coming into a place where I understand my sound and what I uniquely bring to music and my position in the world through that. Like I feel very close to like having a major breakthrough with that.
Yeah.
It might not be by what other people deem, but like I just feel great about that. In my videography, I feel like I'm getting it down to a mediocre level, down pat, where everything that you've seen that's come out has been edited by me or directed by me, unless someone else has shot it. And even then, like, yeah, I still take a very focused approach to that. Yeah. And then, hold up, bro.
So you got your music thing going, and you feel like you're so close to to a breakthrough.
And then with the videography, I feel like I'm really getting close to finding my individual style through videography.
Yeah.
And then I think I'm getting very close to understanding the business aspect and like the recording. And so I feel like I'm very close in all these different areas, bro. And like what's going to be interesting for me this year is how do I take stuff to the next level, but still keep that essence of shit for me, because I feel like in the process of going these different ways and getting closer to being really good at these different aspects of what I do, it's kind of pulled me quite far away from at the essence why I do it to begin with.
What do you think the essence is?
To enjoy life.
To enjoy life.
Yo,
So you mean...
to improve the quality of my life and other people's life through music.
Yeah.
That's my vision and mission statement.
And what pulled you away from that?
The obsession of making it sustainable. So the obsession of being able to run a business and create a clothing brand that can grow its own legs and be separate from merch. I don't want merch. I want a clothing brand. I want to create something bigger than just merch. That's going to take a lot of time and effort, and I've had a child recently, you know, and I've, been learning how to navigate that relationship with myself and with my child, and, with the mother of my child, and, my partner, and like, I don't know, just like, it's a lot, bro. Like, I got a fucking lot on my shoulders, bro. I'm not no victim, bro. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I am not sitting here being like, oh, it's fucking hard for me. But these all extensions of my decision making. I didn't pull out in time. I love this child. I want to keep this child, I didn't fucking slip over and music fell in my lap, and that I've just been running with it ever since. These are all my decisions. I didn't decide to like go try to learn how to film shit. Like it fell in my lap, like it was a decision. It was a conscious, thoughtful decision. I'm going to chase this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, So I got to live with that shit. And that's not like, I'm not no victim about it, but it's fucking, I got a lot that I'm juggling at the moment, bro. And then like being self-supporting and wanting to scale my business and move it to a larger scale operation is going to require a financial change. And so me going and working a full-time job with now 40 hours of my week, waking up at 4 a.m. to get bus to the shore, to get home at 6 p.m, how much time do I have for my son?
Yeah.
And then after that, how much time do I have for my music? And by the time I need to go to bed at like 9 o'clock, if I want an 8-hour sleep, fuck, how much can I get done in a day, bro?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm trying to run a business, shoot a fucking video each week, be a present father, take care of myself, take care of my family, provide, be a man. Like, it's fucking challenging. So like, if I can make that as beautiful and at the essence as I can, and that's a win. That's why I felt so happy and joyous when the bro was like, why don't you make memories around the shit, bro? I was like, yeah, let's go for a paint, bro. I love painting. Like, let's go smash a wall out, you know? Let me work with 2 or 3 other artists and do a collab piece. Like, cool, bro. People want to see that shit, bro. They love it. Like, that's different, bro. I'd love to see a rapper, like, from Auckland go for a paint. I don't know fuck all about painting, but I love it,
Heck yeah.
I'm in love with the shit, like, I'm in love with the culture. I'm in love with seeing all these different aspects of shit. And that's why, like, I don't know, I just feel like, there's so much for me to do, and I'm being pulled in all these different directions. I remember somebody saying to me, if you want to catch a rabbit, chase a rabbit. If you don't want to catch a rabbit, chase 2.
Right.
And that's what I do. I chase 6.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to get all 6 of those motherfuckers. I'm going to catch them. Straight up. You can't tell me I'm not going to catch them. It's just going to take me longer. But I'll find a way to catch all of those motherfuckers, and we're having rabbit stew.
Yeah.
I feed my son rabbit stew. Straight up. I'm going to do it. Like, it just might take me a while. And there's no doubt in my mind that I can't achieve it because I feel so fucking close. Like, I feel like the shit's in my hand, bro.
Yeah.
And but you know, from filming these freestyle videos, I feel like the shit's like, it's just closer to the essence. I know with the business side of shit, bro, I got so much to learn, bro. Like I feel like, yeah, maybe I'm a bit more above average than the majority of people when it comes to financial management and running a business, because I've got a basic level of the framework of it from a small perspective. But in the grander scheme of looking at the ocean, I'm just a drop of water, bro. Like, I don't know what it's like to run a multi-million-dollar business. Like, hopefully one day, well, no, I will one day. Hey, hope ain't gonna get you shit. Like, you know, I'm gonna navigate that at some point in my life, and I say that with acuity and a strong sense of truth, because I know that deep within myself that's what's gonna happen. But in the meantime, I've just got a very basic understanding of it, and so it requires a lot of my time and pulls me away from other things. So if I can work out how to run my business in that same context of, like, maybe my business isn't necessarily about making a financial, but like profit. It's not about making profit. It's about finding that same thing with the freestyle videos of, like, I found the why,
The essence.
the essence, bro. Like, to create memories through the music and capture that. And who doesn't want to see that? And then what is it for the business? It's probably to provide functional garments that I feel are cutting edge, that I feel like I'm pushing the envelope of what I want to see in fashion, you know? And I'm loving it, you know? So, yeah, just really, really, really excited for this year to look back at the end of the year and be like, look what I did this year,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, I think it's going to be special. Because even if I just look back and I look at the freestyle shit, then my quality of life is so much better, because I moved from this grinding mentality of, like, I need to achieve, I need to be successful because I feel like a piece of shit and that's the only way I'm going to validate myself. You know? It's like, nah, it's like, I'm having fucking fun. I'm connecting with people. I love what I'm doing, you know? And that's way more attractive than this insecure drive to be recognized or seen as something.
Yeah.
And 90% of the people in my life, or in general people, I don't mean people in my life, but 90% of the time people don't want to see other people. They don't want to make them feel heard. They lack the emotional and psychological maturity to be able to hold space for people. You know, you tell most people about what's going on. Like, you tell most people, bro, you're at a party, right? You tell somebody, man, I nearly got hit by a car.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, that's nothing. I nearly got hit by a bus. They start telling you about this shit. No one's like, fuck, man, how did that feel? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they don't have to. Fuck, I'm not trying to control them. Everyone's wrapped up in their own sense of self, you know, and what the world is to them. I ain't trying to, like, you know, be like, oh, I'm special. I'm the fucking center of the universe. You should all talk, you know. At the essence, you know, what we were talking about before is, like, I am you, you are me sort of shit, right? So, but, like, I don't have, like, a lot of people that I feel like really owe me the space to be myself, you know? So I just could have give that to myself, you know?
Like the space to be yourself?
Yeah, like, if I want to be heard, why do I try to expect other people to hear me out rather than listening to myself? You know?
But some people may say that that's what good friends do. You know, listen to your friends, what they have to say, see how they're doing.
I got that, for sure.
Yeah.
I got that. I
You
got
have
a
that.
very solid support network, and I got friends and people that are close to me.
Yeah.
And I know the ones that might not hold space with me, so I just don't call them when I'm feeling real raw. You you know, or I feel like I need to be heard or listened to. Or if that's what I need, then I ring them and I say that.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, what are you up to? You got space to hear me out and hold space for me? Because I need someone to talk to. Sorry, bro. I had a long day, cuz, and I'm fucking wrapped up in my own bullshit. Chat. Well, I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
You know, or how you just have a conversation, it just won't be about that shit. You know what I mean? But that's what I like about my recovery, bro, is that my friends don't have to wear the burden of me processing my shit around them. You know?
Because you can do it yourself.
I can do it with other people
Yeah.
that understand the importance and relevance of that aspect of the space being held. So that's cool. I'm just ultimately grateful for everything that I got in my life right now, you know?
Yeah.
Hard out, bro. Because if I wasn't, I'd just be upset and miserable.
Such a good mindset to have, the gratefulness.
Yeah, it's a muscle that way.
It's a muscle. It's. My mom's like always. She preaches that a lot. Being grateful.
What are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful.
Give me 10 things.
Give me 10.
Yeah, give me 10 things, and don't just tell me what they are.
Yeah.
Tell me a brief reason why you're grateful for it.
Okay.
I'll count them down.
10 things.
10. One at a time, bro.
That's
One at
gotta
a
be
time.
like
In front of
20
the other.
minutes of me talking, Chris. You know what I mean? Like, people aren't here for me talking.
What were we saying about yin and yang before?
Well, how about we go 3 each. You know, it's a muscle, Chris. You know, I can't bench like 200 kg from the start.
Your belief about the fact that you can't will limit you.
Limiting belief.
Yeah. Just one at a time until you get to 10.
To 10, huh?
I'm not gonna settle
We're gonna
Pascal for
10,
3.
huh? Okay, let's do 10 then.
Yeah,
Let's
10,
go.
10 there's a psychological reason behind it, but let's go 10.
Okay.
We can go tit for tat if you want.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, that might be easier if you want.
So one each, and
You want me to kick it off since
Yeah,
I'm proposing it?
let's do it.
Because otherwise that'd be unfair of me.
Let's
I'm
do it.
grateful for my relationship with my higher power because it helps me practice humility.
I'm grateful for my ability to be disciplined. Because it allows me to do things that I love doing.
That's a good one. I'm grateful for this podcast and this exchange of conversation because it allows me a safe space to express myself and to be heard in a world where I feel like I'm not that heard.
I don't know if it's cheating, but I'm also grateful for this platform, and because the reason is because it allows me to be connected with people that I wouldn't have been connected with otherwise. And Chris, I think you're a good example of that. And I love listening to different people's perspectives, and I feel like I learn a lot.
Yeah, this is it, bro. You're fucking nailing it. What
Let's
do you mean
go.
you can't do 10?
Let's go.
What are we up to? 2.
Yes, sir.
You're the mathematician, right?
Yeah.
It's apparent. I've already forgotten. I am grateful for my child and my relationship with the mother of my child because it teaches me a lot about myself and my relationship with my inner child.
I'm grateful for the Danish, the bakery you took me to, because it was a pleasure. You know what I mean? Like, we should shout them out.
No, we don't have a sponsorship yet. We're not trying to crowd their play. We'll gatekeep. We only gatekeep that shit. Nah. Should we? It's Mebo.
It's Mebo.
Yeah, they got one in Wynyard Quarter, I think, and this one's in Mount Eden.
MIBO, right? MIBO, Mebo. Yeah.
Mebo.
Yeah, that shit was delicious.
Yeah,
So,
that was
I'm
fire.
grateful for that. I'm grateful for you for paying for that too. Chris.
Oh,
Thank
bro,
you so
you're a
much.
guest, bro. We have to do that. So that's 3.
Yes, sir.
Have I done my third one? Yeah, I've done my child.
You started it. Yeah.
I am grateful for my friends and my family and my support network. I'm grateful specifically for my friends. I'll just keep it to my friends for this one because they inspire me and they push me and they drive me. And I'm grateful for the team that helped me film, for Ollie, for Ned, for Marcel, for Blaze, for letting me use their camera equipment and to help me edit, color grade, and do all that sort of stuff. And I'm grateful for the producers that I work with, because all of you are helping me be more self-supporting and to express myself and create more memories around music.
I'm grateful for art, allowing people like you, Chris, to have an outlet where you can express yourself, gives you another dimension of communicating, because I see that, music or design is not something that I'm well versed in, but I see that I feel inspired, and I feel like it, as you said, it helps a lot of other people too. And so I'm really grateful that they exist in the world.
Yeah, that's a mean one, bro. I'm grateful for plants, for household plants. I acquired one yesterday, a golden pothos.
Oh yeah,
which I'm real stoked of.
is it that one there?
Nah, it's a bigger one.
Okay,
the one in the oh, that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, behind the camera. That shit is massive because I can propagate the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm grateful for the house plants is because each one of them has a memory attached to them. Like this giant. Fuck is that again? Bird of Paradise.
Okay.
This belonged to my homie Marco, who moved overseas. Yeah, he's in this book here. This French graffiti book.
He's in that?
Yeah, bro.
Damn.
I'll show you his.
So he's a graffiti artist.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, and he did an interview in here. His name's Hoax. He writes Hoax.
Damn. So he's a full-time artist?
No. He used to write Hard Out in France. Like his crew, like fucked up Marseille.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Like, do you mean like graffiting around Marseille?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Really?
Where is this shit again?
That's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, he gave me the. This book's crazy, right? Because like, it's got like scenes, right, from like 2018.
Yeah.
And like shows the wall developing over time.
Yeah.
Like throughout the year.
So that's the same wall,
Same doorway, yeah.
Yeah, same doorway, and then.
Oh no! I think this one is just different doorways, but
right.
He does a thing on there where he like finds like a wall. Yeah. Anyway, we won't get too deterred because That's but shout out my bro Hoax.
And
shout
what's
out
the
Marco.
Book called?
It's Marseille Invite. I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah, it's all about Marseille graffiti.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I'm grateful for the houseplants because they remind me of people or things,
Yeah. This
one was propagated from my homie Naughty. His partner Banadori gave me Bondry. The fuck Banadori? I think that's how it's spelled, and I get it dyslexic sometime. But yeah, she gave me that, and there's a couple other plants that I got from them, and then the other houseplants that I have were propagated from Ponsonby Central when I used to work at the Bros Crepe Shop.
Yeah.
So there's all like, yeah, I'm grateful for that because that makes me feel like I'm amongst nature, and this complex that I live in is very grey and dull, and it brings life to the environment around me. So that's 5, eh? So your turn for your 5th one?
Yeah. I'm grateful for living in a house that I feel safe, and living with people that I feel safe with. Yeah, because like so important for me mentally and physically, and to be able to do things that I love doing. So yeah, I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, dope. I'm grateful for the ability to move with dignity and passion around what I love, like within my music, film, clothing, all these other aspects. Like I'm really grateful that I have that tool to be able to express myself through.
I'm grateful for my friends and family, especially in this time of Chinese New Year. Being in Korea, like that's a big holiday in Korea. Yeah, like, they're a big part of me. I started this podcast because I was inspired by some of the things that my mom did, like how she listens to other people, and also inspired by my friends who just has really interesting stuff going on in their life that I wanted to know more about, which was kind of the start of this podcast. So grateful for my relationship in this life.
That's dope. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go. I'm grateful for my parents. because they've raised me in a way that's been different and has really given me an arsenal of tools that I can apply. And I also look at them and their shortcomings,
Yeah.
and I don't hold that against them. Sometimes it might sound like or feel like I do, but I'm grateful for the shortcomings because they teach me about myself as well. And they just really lovingly and unconditionally accept me. Is that 6 or 7?
I think that was your 7th.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm grateful for my religion, and I think it taught me a lot of things that I wouldn't have learned. Otherwise, it challenged me in a lot of ways that I wouldn't have been challenged. And I think I am a better person for it today, and I still strive to be better. So I'm grateful for that.
That's dope. That's a good one. I'm grateful for my recovery and the ability to be sober on a daily basis, and the fact that the program of these 12-step programs that I work allow me the opportunity to not just be abstinent from drugs or addiction that pulls me away from myself, but also teaches me some really vital tools about navigating my character defects and who I am as a person and a spiritual being.
I'm grateful for my various stability in various aspects of my life, where it comes to financial stability or health-wise. Like I don't feel, while I'm not the richest guy in the world or anything, I'm not Elon Musk or anything, but like it still allows me to do a lot of things, enables me to do a lot of things that I love, and it gives me freedom to express myself too. So I'm grateful for that.
Yo, that's a good one. I'm grateful for living in this country, even though it's got some fucked up people running it right now. They're trying to do some fucked up shit. But I know that I've been born into a place as a visitor and not an indigenous person to this country. But I'm grateful for indigenous people that are the true custodians of this land and the culture that I've learned from. And I'm grateful for the opportunities that exist in this country and the perks of being in New Zealand and Aotearoa, and how that's impacted and shaped me as a human and as an artist.
I'm grateful for the drive and passion that I have. I realize that there are a lot of people that don't really have hobbies. And like, to me, I love having hobbies. I love having different interests. And those things often, they brighten my day up even more. So I'm really grateful that I have that space that I can be in. And the last one, right?
Yo.
I'm
grateful for literature and books. I'm grateful that I can read information that people have devoted their lives to writing down, and that I can understand and grow and mold my perspective based off what I find truth in regards to those books.
I'm grateful for David Goggins. I think, he genuinely inspires me in different ways when I read his books or listen to his interviews. I think he's an inspiring person and brings a lot of good things and tries to spread that. And in my video I made with him,
that's genius. If you haven't seen that shit, go check out that video. That actually, I thought that was legit at first.
Yeah.
I was like, you nailed that, bro. That was comedic gold. Yeah. I felt like you should do more of that sort of shit. That shit was funny as fuck, bro.
I was proud of that one. It just came out of nowhere too. Like, I made that and then I got like 20 views for like months. Like I was sitting on 20 views for like months, and it just started shooting off out of nowhere.
Yeah, is that like been like the piece of content that's like got the most reception?
Yeah, it's probably got it's by far got the most views. So there was this one time over a week, it just started getting like from like 20 to 100 views. It's
you broke the algorithm with it. That's how it found its way to me.
yeah, and then somehow like over that week, I had, I don't know, maybe at the end of it, I got 750k views, and that's like over like a week or two.
Wow.
And I went from having 25 subscribers or something to having 2,000 subscribers
To YouTube.
on YouTube. Yeah,
Hey.
it was crazy.
Yeah, that's mean, bro.
And I think a lot of it was, I see a lot of comments saying, I can't tell that if this is real, or I thought this was real at first, and then the people saying you had me at the start and things like that. Yeah, there was a crazy
Yeah, I like
moment.
the part he just like, oh, man, I gotta go, like the whole time. Like,
yeah, just like
that shit
checking
was
my
funny
watch.
as fuck. Nah, but how do you feel, bro? How do you feel after doing that gratitude?
If I were to add like the 11th things to be grateful for, I'm grateful that we took time to reflect on our day.
Yeah, facts.
I mean, that's the thing with human mind, right? It's so easy to get used to things. We get used to our
They take them for
comfort.
granted, eh, bro?
We take it for granted.
Yeah, I had this conversation with Tom from Homebrew recently.
Yeah.
Saying that we're artists and that we constantly are looking for ways to escape the mundane as people, because the mundane is boring. It's what we're used to.
Right.
But our job is to make the mundane beautiful.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what gratitude does, right?
Yeah.
Is that like there's so much shit throughout your day you take for granted.
Much.
Your friends, your family, your passion, rah-de-rah, all these sorts of things. When you stop and think about that shit, it just makes you, like, my cup was running over like after that. And here's you saying that you can't do 10.
Yeah.
But you just did 11, bro. What are you
That's
talking
11.
about? Like, you went over the quota, bro.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to have to do 10 push-ups for that. Nah, but like, that's cool, bro, because, that's like, it just shifts your perspective. Like, you can't feel depressed if you're thinking about what you're grateful for. They don't go hand in hand, I like that, bro. That was cool.
That was really cool.
Yo.
That was really cool. Is it something that you do?
Yeah, it's built into my recovery, but I don't do it as much as I should.
Yeah.
Like, thinking of what I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
That's all the next sort of droppers that I'm doing with the merch is for this song Memories and Thankful that's off Guidance.
That's one of my favorite track of your album, which is like kind of 2 tracks combined into one, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a real crazy story to that whole shit as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
So I wrote that song, but I was listening to Nas. I think the song was Queensbridge Politics.
Okay.
And I wrote some shit to that because I would go religiously to the studio at SAE and I was listening to these 2 songs. It was No Bad Energy by Nas and Queensbridge Politics. Yeah. No, Echo. It was Echo and No Bad Energy. And I wrote to Queensbridge Politics afterwards and I just started writing all this shit, bro. And this shit just came out of me, bro. Like, it channeled through me, like, I felt like I was a vessel, like that, what we're talking about with the higher power stuff. Like, I was empty. Something came through me. And I was writing about this koro and stuff, and like this person that was, had been through the resistance and the occupation of Bastion Point and Orake. And I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about.
Yeah.
And then I wrote this thing, and I remember going home and listening and being like so proud of it. Like, wow, like this thing used me today, you know? This energy used me today. And I wrote the first half of it, so I wrote the memories part, right? And then I knew that I wanted a B-side to that song.
Right.
And I was re-recording the beat that I'd written to, which was the Queensbridge Politics. And I had Stephen Small, who's a real talented keyboard player, and Sam Taylor come in, and Sam played the bass and Stephen played keys. And when I was recording Sam, at the end of the song, I went to hit spacebar to stop the recording, and I pressed the B button, and it was the beat that I was writing to initially, and it triggered the piano roll of it in a lower pitch.
Really?
And I was like, yo, as soon as that played, Sam started playing bass over it, like just improv like in the moment. And I was like, fuck, that's it. Like, That's it. That's perfect. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it was like the one take that he did. I didn't chop it up or nothing. I just used that. And then I wrote the second part of the song. And I went home that night with a demo of the song. And I was listening to it. And so, you know, and that's how I start. I'm like, old Koro looking back at his younger years, gleam in his eye. Nostalgia brought his dreams alive. Reminiscing on adventurous escapades as you felt like yesterday. Smell the scent of an alleyway, trigger neural footsteps. Reminding him of a wool blanket at Bastion Point, singing songs of freedom as he dragged the joint. Hit a rice paper burning slow, campfire burning cold wood sound like the crackle on a vinyl, reminding him of records that he used to play in high school. All them days, they were golden, wishing he could put his hand out and hold them. Instead they passed through his finger like a grain of sand. Skyscrapers replaced the confiscated land. I thought I heard his voice as the wind brushed my ear. I don't know, maybe I'm tripping. So I don't know where that came from. 2 days later, my partner had booked a ticket to the movies, and I knew that we were going to go to the movies and that we were going to go see this Herbs doco. And I went and watched this shit, bro, and I was like, this is what I was talking about in the song. Like, this, I say singing songs of freedom as he dragged the joint. The Herbs doco is called Songs of Freedom.
Right.
And that was about like there was a big part of that was about the occupation of Bastion Point and the resistance of colonial imperialism and white power, like push, you know, like trying to fucking rob people of their land, you know, and getting the short end of the stick. And I was like, damn, like I didn't know I was writing about this guy. And then so I went and researched the stuff, right? Because I was like, I played the shit in the studio to one of my homies, and he was like, what'd you say about Bastion Point? Like, my family's from there?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow. And then he's like, I'll try to get you in contact with some of the ladies at the Marae because I knew I needed to film a video for this.
Right.
Like, this needed a video.
Yeah.
And so they go, nothing happened from that. Maybe 2 days later, I was in the studio with the same guy, and we're working on some other shit. Someone randomly DM'd me on Insta and was like, yo, you know Keenan? Like, do you know Kiki? And I was like, yeah, bro, we go to uni together. He's in a year under me. He's like, oh, that's my cousin. And I was like, are you from Orake? He's like, yeah. And I was like, I need to send you something. Send him that song. And he's just like, bro, what the fuck? And I was like, what? And he's like, you're talking about my uncle, bro.
Really?
And I was like, what? He's like, this is bizarre. He's like, I'm going to put you in contact with my uncle.
Yeah.
In the time where I knew that I was going to film something, I started researching the shit. I got a black book downstairs I could show you afterwards. It's got all the stuff about the Hawk whānau, you know, about Joanne Hawk, Cooper Hawk, that passed away during the occupation. I got all the stuff about, you know, the whole whānau and rest in peace to Alec Hawk. Was it Alec? No, I can't remember. I always think, whenever I think of Hawk, I think of Ethan Hawke, and it's fucking clouding my judgment. But the rest in peace to the bro's brother, you know.
Yeah.
It was he sort of led that occupation, and I'd done all this research, and I like when this guy put me in contact with his uncle invited me out there. I went and filmed with him, and I had a rough idea of where I wanted to take the shot. And he was like, nah, we're not going there. And I was like, fuck, come on, bro. Like, I'm trying to direct. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a guest, right?
Yeah.
So, but I still felt like I had a knowledge of what I'm trying to get. And so I just let go of it. And he took me to the seat. And we shot this shot of him looking out over the city.
Yeah.
I would never have found that seat. He knew that seat because he grew up there his whole life. It was his daughter that passed away during the occupation. He took me to the memorial and taught me about what the historical context of what happened there. His brother and him were in that documentary I watched.
Really?
And I saw the placard that says Joanne Cooper Hawk. And I was like, hey, I know that that marae and those people have a connection to up north because my friend told me that they got all their harakeke seeds that are grown at the harakeke patch there from up Hokianga.
Yeah.
So I know that they already have a relationship. I asked him, your daughter's last name's Cooper Hawk.
Mm.
He goes, yeah, my partner who I had that baby with is a descendant of, she's from the Cooper whānau.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend last name is Te Waki, and her great auntie is Whina Cooper.
Mm.
I don't know if you know who that is, but she's a very esteemed woman from Pangaru, a Māori woman who led the not one more acre. She's the old lady that has the bandana thing tied there, a little hunchback.
Okay.
She walked from Hokianga to Auckland
She walked.
with a rupu, with a big rock.
Yeah.
No one's going to take one more acre of Māori land.
Really?
Yeah, amazing woman.
Whoa.
And so I'm like, yo, this guy is like connected.
Yeah.
Like we're connected somehow through my girlfriend's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
wow. Just
That's
crazy.
wild.
Like, just crazy. And that whole song just like, yeah. And he let me film. I've still got to run it past a few people
Yeah.
at the marae to make sure that it's okay what I'm talking about, you know? Because I did reference, you know, just dragging the joint and all that sort of shit.
Mm.
I know he has no problem with that. I'm not trying to undermine his authority to allow me to film there, but I just understand that in the past that Māori have been separated, and it's ignorant of me to assume that I have a responsibility to make sure that doesn't happen.
Right.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I just want to make sure everyone's cool with it before it comes out, because it's not just about me and him. It's about the overall message of what I'm doing, and I don't want to appropriate anything.
Yeah.
I think that's why he wanted to work with me, because he understood that when he heard the song and stuff. But yeah, weird little thing. But what I was saying, where I was going to, which was fucking long-winded, is that I'm releasing that soon. That was what was supposed to come out.
Right. Ah, I see.
But I'm splitting the rollout into two things: Memories and Thankful.
Right.
So Memories has a whole rollout where I've done a collaboration with Black and White Box to give away a film camera.
Mm.
I have this photo of my parents in front of the house where I was born, and I recreated that in the video clip with me, my mum, and my dad standing outside that
That's
same
so
house.
Cool. Yeah.
And so the competition is going to be that you recreate an image of nostalgia, and now it doesn't have to be on a film photo, it doesn't have to be whatever. The winner, the one that does the most creative one or the most sentimental one, you explain why it's important to you. The winner gets my film camera, a photo book for like creating memories, a darkroom development course.
Oh wow.
At Black and White Box.
Yeah.
They helped us out. They gave us that.
Cool.
4 rolls of film, 2 black and white, 2 color,
Yeah.
and 2 Devon scans. And yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
But that's what you win for that. And then for the thankful part, I've done these T-shirts that just say, today I'm thankful for, and then there's a blank space on the back. And it's like puff print, so it's like raised up and stuff, and like it's real cool. It just says thankful on the front, and then on the back it says, today I'm thankful for. And I wanted to invoke a bit of thought for people, you know. It's funny, I got a sample back, right, and I'm walking in New Lynn. This chick at the lights is like, what does that mean? And I'm like, what mean? And she's like, your shirt says, today I'm thankful for. And I'm like, no, there's a blank space afterwards. She's like, oh, so to like get, you know, to fill in the blank. And I'm like, yeah, what are you thankful for?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I don't know. And I was like, great. Like, maybe you can think about it today, you know?
Sit her down, 10 things, you know?
Yo, nice.
Yeah.
Like,
Next
what the
time,
fuck?
you know?
Yeah, one tip for tat. No, but she like, that's kind of what I want to do with that garment. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, get people to think about what they're grateful for.
Heck yeah.
I'd love to get a billboard.
Yeah.
I'd love to
Of that,
today I'm thankful for.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I think that'd be cool as fuck.
that will be cool. And I think,
Stop people in that mundane process of
yeah.
driving to work.
Or more like recognizing, being more mindful of the mundane process. Like,
Yeah.
mundane
Because if they're
processes,
thinking on their
right.
way to work, like what I'm thankful for, they're going to be grateful that they're employed,
Yeah.
you know, or that they've got the opportunity to like drive to work, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. Though I'm limited at the moment through I'm pressing on blanks and screen printing and stuff like that. Though I'm mindful of the fact that I'm limited, I'm still trying to make the garments functional. So the purpose of it is to reflect the essence of that song, which is that I'm thankful,
Yeah.
you know, and that I'm practicing gratitude. So I try to carry that with the clothing, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm just speaking that into existence now because I've got all the garments made up. I've just got to shoot the ad campaign and, you know, do everything for that.
Yeah. No, that's a special song, you know, like I said earlier, that's one of my favorites of the album. And, you know, like listening to your story, how it came about, obviously I didn't know that before coming into this. But I don't know, like the music is just the sound waves at the end of the day, right? But it affects how you feel, how you think about things. It can change your life, and it's just sound waves at the end. So I do believe that it carries an energy for sure, right? Like, and if it's like a special song like that, like, you know, I'm a believer that people feel it. Like you might recognize it, you might
Well,
not.
that's what we are, bro. You know, we're frequency, we're vibrating.
We're vibrate, yeah.
Yeah, I am you, you are me. We are the music.
Yeah, no, definitely. But Chris, thank you so much for reaching out to me. It's been an awesome conversation. And like I said, like I've been into music, you know, like from when I was younger. So to talk to like a dope artist, dope rapper like yourself, like
thank you.
It's been awesome, and I'm looking forward to hearing more of your stuff at the gym. You know, this is what I've been up to. And I think you have a very special talent. I think you have a very special voice. So I would love to continue watch you grow, watch you influence others.
We should, like, before I put my next shit out, like, come through, have a listen, like, get a sneak peek at my next album, sort of thing.
Yeah,
if you want, we have a conversation around it. If you want.
I would love that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And do you have so you mentioned that like Thankful and Memories project that's coming out.
Yeah.
Is there any other projects that you have coming out?
Yeah, I'm putting out my second album.
Yeah.
My sophomore.
Is it pretty soon?
In May. Yeah, the anniversary of my friend who passed away when I was 19. That's also my clean time sobriety date. Right. So that's when I got clean. And I'll be 9 years clean. 9 years.
Congratulations.
Yeah, in May, the 10th.
In May, huh?
And then that's his birthday. And then 2 days after, it's my birthday.
Yeah.
So my belly button birthday.
Oh, when?
So May the 12th.
May the 12th, okay.
Yo. And then, so the project, I'm hoping to release on that day because it's very intentional. And it's all about the loss. It's a two-sided duality, you know, loss and regrowth. That's what the project's called. And it's about processing loss and grief, and then the flip side of that, and the cycle of how that revolves around and around.
Yeah. And May is the month that I started this podcast as well. So
is it?
Yeah, May 23rd. So
nice, you got the date.
Kind of in theme with the
we'll have to why don't we tap in?
That sounds
on
perfect.
That date we should do another one.
Heck yeah.
Thanks, bro. Thank you for having me, bro. I appreciate you holding space for me. Like I said in my gratitude list, for me to, you know, feel seen and heard. And also want to acknowledge your ability to listen, because I can go rambling and go off on fucking tangents. And I appreciate that you, like, it takes a lot, you know, for somebody to sit here and listen attentively and to be able to hold space. So I appreciate you. And I'm glad that you're keen to cook. You know what I mean? And to get to work, you know what I mean? Like, and thanks for coming out here, because I've been fucking catching the bus out the shore at work. I ain't trying to do that shit in the weekend, so I appreciate that, you know? And I hope you feel that you're, you know, welcome here, and that you've been embraced as well, bro, because at the end of the day, like, these connections are real important and they're real special, you know?
Yeah.
Where can people find your podcast at?
Well, it's I was gonna say Chris RL on Instagram, right?
That's my username, but Chris Don't Fold on Instagram.
Chris Don't Fold.
Chris RL, or search Unearthed Sound Chris RL for my YouTube content, my music videos. Yo, Never Fold Worldwide is the clothing brand, neverfoldworldwide.com. We also got a little, you know, group, a collective called Prior Records that we're developing and building at the moment. Yet to put that shit out, but the homies have been releasing music, and, you know, that's on its way as well. So yeah, hit me up on any of the socials, it's all Chris RL or Chris Don't Fold. And then my music on all DSPs, all streaming platforms is just Chris RL. Yeah. And where we gonna find Pascal at?
And you can find me on YouTube and most of the podcast streaming platform, like including Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Or on everything, it's Everything Goes with Pascal, because Everything Goes was taken, of course. It's a
Everything
name.
Goes with Pascal.
Everything Goes with Pascal. YouTube is what I'm most active on in terms of releasing content. But yeah,
go subscribe, run that shit up.
Let's
for
go
more
subscribe. Let's go.
solid content and meaningful conversations.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And yeah, no, it's been my pleasure, Chris. And yeah, thank you very much.
No, sure,
Let's
bro.
do it again.
Absolutely,
Let's
bro.
do it. Chris RL, everyone.
Ciao, brother.
Thanks, guys.
See you.
Bye. See ya.